Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of ASAP in the Morning. It is your boy Pride, joined by Mike, Dustin, and Greg. Mike, how you feeling?
Good as gold.
But you know who ain't gold? Josh Allen. He's horrible. Greg, how you feeling?
Feeling awesome. Great game. Josh Allen, he balled out, but we got Patrick LaVon Mahomes II.
You get a coin toss.
Boom.
I mean, let's be fair here. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was so great. He was the second best quarterback on the field that day. Matter of fact, you might even say third because old Goat Trubisky was there. Justin, how you feeling today?
6-9. That's all I'm going to say. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Nah, yo, I want you to say it. I want to hear it.
6-9 since you won the Super Bowl, Mr. A-Rod. You are no longer in the GOAT conversation and are officially labeled as the greatest regular season quarterback in NFL history and mediocre in the playoffs. Take it and run with it.
There it is.
I love it. By the way, Dustin, you said you had one more stat, right?
I got two that kind of tied together.
Let me hear them.
So there was a record yesterday for the closest total victory in the divisional round of 15 points between the four games, breaking the old record of an 18-point spread. And for the first time in NFL history, you had 3 divisional games decided by a field goal with 4 seconds on the clock when each field goal was kicked.
Crazy games.
Someone said, don't complain about the OT rule. Make a stop. And Rodgers, shut the fuck up and go away.
Valid.
Thank you, UL.
It is. And listen, here's my thing about the OT rule. Is it perfect?
It's not valid, though. No, the second part was valid, but the first part to me is kind of like, I've always felt this way. All right, so let's say the Chiefs get a field goal, right?
Uh-huh.
The Bills get a shot.
Yes.
So why don't I get a shot if they get a touchdown? If you don't match it, you
Easy.
don't match it.
But no. Here's my thing.
I just think it's weird. I think if it's the field goal, if you can do it for a field goal, you should match it for a touchdown.
Nah. This is just me. And again, we need to take Greg away from this because he just won it.
Nobody said that when Tom Brady did us like that in the AFC Championship, so I want to hear it now.
Everybody was saying that. Everybody was saying that. Don't do that, Greg. Don't do that, Greg. Everybody was saying that. But here's my thing when it comes to overtime.
Everybody's right, Pride though. Everybody said if Patrick got the ball, he would have fucking scored. Like that's just
right. But at the same time, but again, it doesn't matter. And I'm explaining why. And I'm gonna explain why. I believe. By the way, Rob, welcome, my brother.
What's going on, y'all?
But this is just how I feel about the OT rule. If you need to overly rely on your team to score a touchdown, if you need to overly rely on luck instead of getting a defensive stop, you deserve to lose. I've said it since day one, and I believe it. Hold on. I believe it with every fiber of my being. If you need to rely overly on winning a coin toss instead of getting a defensive stop, you deserve to lose. I've said that since day one. Period.
Now,
Thank you, Pride. I appreciate that.
I gotta ask Rob. I gotta ask my brother, my Chicago friend.
Don't butter him up. Don't do that.
Are you with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, my brother? You are in the whitest room I've ever seen in my life.
Yo, it's so white. Rob just look like a flow of heaven.
Are you in heaven, sir? And you wearing all white, sir?
You muted, brother.
Oh,
you're muted.
Muted.
I was in football heaven last night. I'll tell you that.
You're still there. You gotta come back to me, Rob. They gonna keep you forever, brother.
I'm reaching out for you, my son.
You gotta come, man.
You know what? I thought we was already over the whole OT rule. But before we get to the game, let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about it. Because I'm one of the people who believe, and Mike, you got somebody who's got your back in the comments. Say Mike is right, the OT rule needs to change. And I get it, but here's my thing.
Make it stop.
When it's an overtime, let's be fair, they don't want to be there no more. Nobody wants to be there.
Right.
Let's be fair. Nobody.
My thing is, all the fans want to be there. They want to see it.
Well, you already got their money, so it don't matter. Matter of fact, if anything, you want to end the game quick because guess what? That's more game and that's free money. So now you're losing out.
Right. No,
at least that's what the league is probably thinking.
My thing is just like, I've made it clear to you. I don't care which way it goes. Like, even if you say, okay, fine, a field goal wins you the game. I just want consistency. I don't want a field goal doesn't win you the game, but a touchdown does. And I just want more.
But there is consistency there. There is.
I just think
I'm explaining you why.
Yeah.
When you kick a field goal, how many points is a field goal?
3,
right? Okay. When you score a touchdown, how many points is that?
6.
Well, 6. We're just gonna go. And the only reason I'm gonna say 6 is because when you in overtime you get a touchdown, you don't kick the field goal. So that's 6. Which is more, 6 or 3?
Don't do this.
I'm being serious. Which is more, 6 or 3?
6.
6, right? Okay.
But they were still the first one to score, right? Whether it's 6 or 3.
Right. But here's the problem. When it's a field goal, there's an option for you to score more than 3 points.
Right.
That option is on the table for you. When you score a touchdown, there's nothing you can do.
Now, here's what I posed to you, though. So they missed the field goal. Say you get 6 points, you miss the field goal. Mm-hmm. Buffalo goes back. They score a touchdown. Then they make the field goal. Or they go for 2. They score 8 points, and they win the game.
But let's be fair. Who's really going to do that?
We saw Gay, we saw Scoop, we saw a bunch of guys miss field goals yesterday.
No. I'm not talking about missing field goals. We've seen a lot of them.
Oh, who's going for 2?
Who's going for 2?
Matt Nagy, but he's no longer in this conversation. But
Mike Vrabel did it.
And again, the dude you just named who would do it.
A bunch of guys.
But again, the guy you just named, Matt Nagy, got fired.
Right.
Deservedly so.
No, but you know what I'm saying? In all seriousness, like I just feel like I don't know. Like you can't just be like, yeah, okay, fine, we're not gonna give him a shot. I just truly believe, whether it's Josh Allen or not, I would have loved when Tom Brady won, and I know Pride you loved it, but I would have loved to see Patrick Mahomes get the ball back. I would have loved to see it because here's my thing. It's not like there's 3 minutes on the clock in an overtime. There's 12 minutes. If we're only going to use 30 seconds of that 12 minutes, why is it even up there?
I mean, they only used 13 seconds to get a field goal right before that.
But you get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But here's the thing. Someone says NFL overtime needs to be like the NBA rule where you play till the clock hits 0. I don't know.
I don't think – my thing is more match it, and we can keep going. And if they don't, they don't. It's over.
I don't know. I don't like that. And the only reason I'm saying I don't like that is because at the pace these dudes was going, touchdown for touchdown, they'll still be playing this morning.
Yeah,
They were going.
It would have continued to be the greatest game ever.
I don't know, man.
Yes.
Again, this is just me personally. I'm not one of the people who feel like. I think the overtime rule is fine. And it's just because, again, I'm not – listen, as much as I love football, let's not get it twisted. As much as you love something, the more you're around it, the more likely you are to hate it. Let's be fair here. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love baseball. I love it with a passion. That's my sport. I vibes with it. That's my stuff. And extra innings, I be wanting to punch my TV. I'm not kidding you. I be wanting to punch it. I be wanting to put pause on it. Because it be crazy how long it be taking.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, that's why I'm low-key kind of glad they put the runner on second, because now it's speeding it up. So Rob, let me ask you, are you with Mike? Like, do you think the OT rule needs to be changed, or are you kind of okay with how it is now?
Actually, I like the way it is now. I think a touchdown should win you the game. Like if you score a touchdown, game should be over. Simple as that.
And I'm with it. And again, that's just for overtime. And it's again, like I said, if your defense can't get one stop, I don't know. Me personally, I just feel like we're looking to blame. And again, Anthony Price says it. They scored 25 points in 2 minutes. Like, this would have been like, and I'm telling you, this would have been the longest overtime in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a playoff game. It wouldn't have ended in a tie. These dudes would have still kept going. You know what I mean? These dudes would have kept going. And you don't even understand, like, I don't know. Me personally, I think the rule is okay. I think it's fine. That's just me. Oh, okay. Hold on, Dustin. You said something interesting. But by the way, before we get to you, Frankie says if the Bills wanted it so bad, so-called number one defense should have played better.
Right on, Frankie.
You're playing Patrick Mahomes, dude. Number one defense means nothing against him.
I mean, let's be fair, yeah, but at the same time, I understand it's Patrick Mahomes, but how many games has Patrick Mahomes lost?
He's lost. He's lost plenty, but that's because
he's a human,
really
right? So you can stop him. That's just all I'm saying. All I'm saying is you had the opportunity to stop him. Who was it? I can't remember the corner's name. He let McCole Hardman on the sideline, booty naked open.
You talking about White?
Yeah. Was it? No.
Hyde. It was Hyde.
It wasn't Hyde. No, it wasn't Hyde. It wasn't Hyde. Homeboy had dreads.
Okay.
I don't know what it was on his mind, but I almost want to say it was Tyreek who kind of did like this little cute little in route. It was like something mad close, and he basically fell for it, crashed on him. McCole Hardman was wide open, but within the 10-yard line. Like when I see that type of mental lapse on defense, and you're leaving the whole side of the field open, and right. I see that mental lapse, you deserve to lose, in my opinion.
Right.
Well, it was lapses on both sides because you had Mike Hughes falling down like he got crossed by Allen Iverson on one of the touchdowns, and then
you leave him beat.
Then we had confusion on the other touchdown that Josh Allen had with the 13 seconds left. So
you leave Mike Hughes alone; he's one hell of a specimen.
Mike Hughes
Not you.
By the way, I was 14 seconds away
from
seeing Greg punch a table, bro. I was
sorry,
so tight.
Greg.
I was so tight, bro. But like, I don't know. I just feel like when you let a play like that happen, bro, I don't know. To me, it just makes me start looking like, again, you only needed one stop and you can't get it. I don't know. It's kind of like the thing, like, if you can't get that one stop, why are we gonna give you another opportunity?
And that's how I've always felt about it, Pride. Even when we did lose to Brady in the AFC title game, I felt like this. Our defense sucked all game.
Right.
So why am I now gonna get mad at the overtime rule because the Patriots drove down the field and got a touchdown and won?
Yeah, I'm not even like that's my I'm not even mad.
Yeah, because I don't think you're mad, Mike. It's just you just think the rules should be.
I just want to see good football. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'll be honest.
I feel that.
To be fair, too, Butker left 4 points on the board. He missed an extra point and he missed a field goal. Where if he makes that extra point or that field goal, you don't go to overtime
anyway.
Right, exactly.
Right.
That is true.
Pride knew. I was praying on that kid's downfall, bro.
Listen, you say he was praying on his downfall. T.
What's going on, guys?
Bro,
I didn't want to show my
APP
face today, but I decided I'll show it for like 10 seconds. So
bro, you hear back. So if you're gonna be here for 10 seconds, the first game we're gonna talk about.
Can I touch on the overtime thing quick that I put in?
Please. Oh, go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
So I'm on board with Mike, and I'm not on board with Mike. So hear me out.
Oh, I gotta hear this because you just confused me.
So regular season, I'm okay with the overtime rules being what they are.
Okay.
You get the ball first, you score a touchdown, game's over. You get the ball first, you kick a field goal, the other team gets the ball, and then if they get a field goal, you keep going, or if the game's over after a touchdown. However, I would like both teams to get the ball first in overtime, because if you look at the NHL too, the NHL changes their overtime rules for the playoffs. Regular season, it's a 5-minute overtime period, 3-on-3 hockey, but once you get to the playoffs, it goes 5-on-5, 20-minute overtime. Right. So they do change their overtime rules for the playoffs because there's more behind a playoff game as opposed to the regular season game. Mm-hmm. So I would like both teams to touch the ball in overtime during the playoffs for that reason, but take the extra point side of things out of it. If you get a touchdown, make a team go for 2 points or make a team go for 1 point and use the XFL rules where the 1 point comes from the 2-yard line and the 2-point conversion comes from the 8-yard line like the XFL did. That makes overtime interesting because not only are you going to be forced to get a touchdown, but if you get a touchdown and that one team doesn't convert on the extra point, you have the option to obviously go for 1, and if you don't convert, then you keep going. But if that other team converts on that extra point, you have the option to go to tie it from the 2-yard line or go for it all for the win from the 8.
Right.
And that changes a lot of strategy then.
Right. And pride, you have to look at it too. Like, me and you were huge baseball fans, but that's how the game ends at the end of the day. Whoever bats last gets that option. So if I score in the top of the 10th, I still got to play the bottom of the 10th as well. Depending on who's at home, who's not. But that's my biggest thing is even when the Cubs won the World Series, yes, we scored first, but we still had to go out there and finish it.
I get it.
Right.
My only thing is let's, and this is where it's coming from me.
Right.
I don't want the rule or the overtime rules to, and again, I am not a Chiefs fan at all.
I'm not taking away anything, you know what I mean?
But I just don't want the Chiefs' loss to be kind of have an asterisk next to it because of the overtime rules. Like, I don't want people to say, oh, yeah, the Chiefs won, but did they really? Like,
nobody will do that unless it happens to their team. Obviously.
Right, exactly.
Because a lot of Chiefs fans, I don't know how Greg felt, but a lot of Chiefs fans felt that way in 2018. They felt that they should have got the ball just because they scored, and now the tables are flipped. Buffalo Bills fans probably feel the same way that they should have got the ball.
Everybody and their mama thought that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
some did for real. No, it was Chiefs fans that was just like Dustin was saying.
Everybody.
I wasn't one of them. I was like, our defense sucked. So
there's not. I mean, people really don't care about the overtime rule unless it happens to their team, or in this instance, it happens in a game like we saw last night, where everyone just wanted to see like what quarterback was going to one up the other for another 15, 20 minutes, however long we could have seen it.
And you look at Josh Allen's face too on the sideline the second
he knew it.
Toss.
Yeah, no, he knew.
He knew it. Mike, if you watch the coin toss, Josh Allen knew it at the coin toss. Like, he walked back to the sideline. He's like, "Yep, done."
And then
he had his head down the whole way back to the sideline.
But what's his mentality then, and how does it look when he knows he's going to have a shot to go tick for tack?
Exactly. He'd have a completely different mentality, but without having a chance to get the ball back. As soon as they lost the coin toss, you could see him put his head down on the way back to the sideline because he knew his defense.
He knew. He knew as soon as. But I mean, this is actually a good point. The Chiefs, while they're changing the 2019 winter meetings, wasn't even enough support from the owners to get a vote.
That's
which,
correct.
Sure. But also, let's be fair. I think it's kind of unfair that the owners didn't want to give them, because for as much as I think the rule is fine, players in the league think, bro, we need to change it.
I know Diggs does.
But at the same time,
here's the funny part, Mike. Buffalo Bills are one of the teams that voted against it in 2019. You know damn well they're going to the table now.
That one hurts.
If that ain't the definition of irony, then I don't know what is, bro. But I mean, to be honest, it's very interesting, because again, with the way things kind of panned out. I mean, and also let's be fair, the only time people ever really call for a change in the overtime rule is when you lose in overtime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To Dustin's point, Buffalo was chilling with this rule until they lost to it. Kansas City wanted to change it, but now they're content with it. So it's kind of like a situation where, like, because I'm telling you, it's going to change. And then a team like the Rams, they're going to score first, and then they're going to be playing the Cardinals. Then the Cardinals are going to score, and then in the end, the Cardinals win. And then watch a Rams player say, "Man, I wish it was the old overtime rule."
I mean,
You know,
if they're gonna change it, at least change it by starting with the college rules first. Do away with the kickoffs and just give each team the ball at like the other team's 40-yard line, and go from there. That way, you're eliminating like the big hits on kickoffs, and you're eliminating stuff like that. But then each team gets the ball, but you don't really have like you have a chance to get to the red zone right away. But then you actually see like who wants it more based on like what they do for red zone defense and goal line defense. You'll find out really who wants it more.
And the NFL is kind of in a pickle in a way, because you can't be saying player safety, and then okay, we're gonna start with double overtimes, and then we had this extra game for the regular season. Then, so that's where they're kind of, you can't preach one thing. You're saying player safety, and yet you add an extra regular season game, and now you're making your overtime longer. So.
Yep, Mike, you're kind of there. It is.
Light went
but yeah, I mean that's really what it is. Like, you know, like and listen, that's something people don't really talk about, Greg. But that's actually a valid point. Like, they're out here. Listen, they're doing everything to make players safe. They're changing helmets and all this stuff. But and by the way, real quick,
Free Josh.
Anthony Price, they're all going to slander and besmirch the good name of Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
No, he won't.
I'm not gonna let that happen.
I will not slander anything on him.
See, Dustin, when you say that, he's gonna be pulling out the wildest stat that will put Tom Brady.
I'll say this,
on third down, if he doesn't do this specific thing, he's 500. Dustin's gonna spit out a fact like that.
I'm gonna say though, you have to agree with me. The Twitter, I don't know if you were on Twitter yesterday during the Bucs game, but the Tom Brady is bleeding tweets.
And I love Tom.
Like, all right, it's a tiny cut, bro. I was like,
the one that had me was the one they put in the group chat with Ric Flair.
Oh my god! I was like,
Tom looking at the ref.
Like, it's a little cut. He's good. He probably bit his own lip, and that's how.
I'll be honest. The way it looked like, it really looked like he bit his own lip.
I swear to God, I've done it. I don't know how many times.
Tom was like, I'm dying. I'm like, look, Tom, I love you, my dude, but come on, Tom.
Chill out. When you look at this man straight in the face and know that Tom Brady does not wear a mouthpiece, that's why you're biting your lip and bleeding. That's why I always did it. I don't wear mouthpieces.
I love Tom. Look at me. I love Tom, but it's kind of funny because like Tom, like they're zooming in on his face, and Tom is just like trying to spit out more blood.
Right. I was
like, what are you doing, Tom? Like, come on,
relax, bro. Like,
find that blade of grass with Tom Brady's blood on it, sell it for $500,000, call it a day.
I swear to God.
Before we get into that game, because I want T to be back in here because he's a Bucs fan, so I want him to be here. Before we get into that, Cincinnati beat Tennessee, which was hilarious in my world. It was absolutely hilarious because the Bengals let Joe Burrow get sacked nine times.
9 times. Which went Justin Fields.
He got sacked 9 times. Credit to Joe Burrow.
Unnecessary, Dustin. Unnecessary.
Very unnecessary. But
my season's over. You leave it be.
But credit to Joe Burrow, 348 to 28 for 37.
My dog.
I mean, every single time, and it was kind of funny because Jamar Chase had only 5. By the way, Dustin, you're not allowed to answer this question because I bet he already knows. Jamar Chase only had 5 receptions. Can anyone tell me how many yards he got?
Not a lot.
It wasn't a whole.
It wasn't a whole lot. Plot twist: 109 yards.
Oh wow!
For Jamar, it wasn't.
Jamar.
For Jamar, it wasn't a lot.
You know you got it, Coach. Nah, you're right. Because Jamar, you right.
My boy's sipping 220 on a Rego.
Nah, you right. My bad. That's on me. My fault. You right.
All good, bro.
For a number receiver, 109 is phenomenal. For Jamar Chase,
anybody else, with Jamar, I was like, that's not good enough.
You're right. I saw it earlier that he only had 3 receptions, and it was like 80-something yards. I'm like, what you on, bro? I'm like, what are you doing? Like, relax. Azuma, who kind of, sometimes they'll use them, sometimes they want their tight end, CJ Uzomah. He had 8 targets, 7 receptions, 71 yards.
The kid does not get a fair shake on a regular basis.
Who?
Uzomah. I love him.
Oh, nah, he doesn't.
You use him.
But I mean, let's be fair here. Let's be fair here. You're not going to when you got a Jamar Chase, when you got a T. Higgins, a Tyler Boyd, who we have seen most of the time this year, him step up. You also still got Joe Mixon, who's been the healthiest he's been in a while.
Right. So
I think when you have all of that, a guy like Uzomah, he's gonna have to take the back. And it sucks because I like him as a tight end.
He's good.
Oh my God, I like him. He's a solid tight end that if you have
a lot better than OJ Howard, but that's neither here nor there.
Do me a favor, lick our nuts, because guess what? At the end of the day, matter of fact, he got like 2 receptions. He had 2 targets. He had like 2 targets.
2 targets, 1 catch.
No, I thought he had 2 receptions.
I don't think so.
Because when you messaged me in the group chat, you said, we'll get there. No, we're gonna get there. When we talk about Tampa, I'm gonna pull it up. I promise you, I'm gonna pull it up.
You got at least 1. You got your dub.
Yeah, because when he got the target, I immediately put it in the group chat, lick my toes. You feel me? By the way, I haven't showered in like 3 days for this specific moment. Like, you know what I mean? So I got toe cheese, my beef steak.
Oh, you're horrible, bro. You're horrible, bro.
But I know I'm horrible. But again, Mike, let me hand it over to you, because Joe Burrow, is it possible that he can survive getting sacked 9 times? Matter of fact, forget 9, 5 times. Do you think he can survive that?
I think he can. At this very moment, I think he can. I don't think he's going to have to for long. They have top 5 most salary cap space in the league going into the offseason. It's a very deep class for offensive linemen. They can bring in as many offensive linemen as they want. They have all these guys on rookie deals. Their defense is locked up for the most part because these guys, they're not great. Like, they're just veteran guys on 2-3 year deals. Like, they're doing their thing. So they really don't have to work on a lot. And unlike the Bears in 2018, who finished the season thinking all they needed was a kicker, I can truly look at this team and say all they needed is offensive line, and they'll be straight. And everybody just, obviously needs to stay relatively healthy. But they have the money to be able to afford it, so I don't think he's going to have to go through that for too long. Now, with Greg's situation with the Chiefs, I think it's odd. It's a different conversation now, because at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have said at all that I'm worried about the Chiefs getting to Burrow. But after last night, I've seen throughout the second half of the season, you kind of have to take them a little bit more seriously. Chris Jones and company, they're doing their thing. And what messed up Chris from the jump was trying to put him, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, but was trying to make him a pass rusher was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Put him back at tackle, and he's doing great.
Yes.
They were just trying something. I can't even blame them. You have the luxury of trying something. But when you have Patrick Mahomes, but it's definitely something to where I don't think Burrow's going to have to deal with that for too much longer.
Dustin,
yeah.
Obviously, people were questioning why they drafted a receiver over an offensive lineman. A lot of people are kind of, right, which they should have. Well, we can't say that because
I don't think they're there without Jamar.
Let's be fair here. I don't think so either. But Dustin, let me ask you this. Do you think that with the way Joe Burrow is playing, do you think they actually will look to give him offensive line help? Because remember, this reminds me a lot of Indy when they had Andrew Luck.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to go get him offensive line help, but when they saw how great he was playing, they were like, you know what? Let's go get him receivers. Let's go get him a target. Let's go get him guys you can throw the ball to. Do you think that Cincy might accidentally take this approach? Or do you think that they're actually going to pay attention to the offensive line and give him some help?
I think they focus on an offensive lineman in this year's draft more than they would have last year. And the reason why I say that is if you look at the NFL landscape now, taking Tom Brady out of things because he's an anomaly for everything, but usually the Super Bowl window for a team is within 5 years of drafting your franchise quarterback. And that's because no team in NFL history has ever won a Super Bowl when their quarterback makes more than 15% of the team's salary cap. So you have a guy in Joe Burrow who looks to be a franchise quarterback. Why not invest all your resources in offensive weapons like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon for the first 5 years of his rookie deal and try to get the maximum potential that you can get out of him before he signs that big contract and before Chase signs that big contract and before you put yourself in a situation where your quarterback is making more than 15% of your cap. And I think that's why Cincinnati focused on getting him as many weapons as possible. Yes, he's taken a lot of shots, which is not good for the longevity of his career, but they're going to address that. But you've seen it pay off this year. The connection that he has with Jamar Chase is what Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers have in Green Bay, except theirs has been going on for 8 years as opposed to this has been going on for 3 years if you count college. So these guys are going to have that connection for another 4 or 5 years until they both hit the free agent market. And as long as they can continue to add the resources they need, Cincinnati's going to be tough. They made their first AFC championship game since '88. They won their first ever road playoff game in franchise history. And their franchise has been around since the late 60s, and they've never won a road playoff game until this weekend. And that's all credit to Joe Burrow and the way Zach Taylor in the front office has designed that team. But they knew coming in that without an offensive line, Burrow was going to take the shots, and he has taken shots. He was sacked 53 times this year, the most of anybody. So they knew going in that Burrow was going to get hit. It was a matter of how quickly he could get up and how quickly that team could recover from that. And so far, they've done a good job bouncing back from the hits that he's taken. Now they know what the offense is, so now it's time to address what they need to address, and that's the offensive line.
Rob, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something on the Tennessee side because
What's going on?
Derrick Henry, 20 carries, 62 yards. Not really his, his best day. Was it Cincinnati that really held them in check? Because I see a lot of people giving Cincinnati's defense credit. Was it the defense that really checked them, or do you think that he still wasn't fully healthy coming off the injury?
No, I think it was the Cincinnati's defense, but I don't think it was them checking Derrick Henry. It was them keeping Ryan Tannehill in check. And now you have to make them honest. And you knew that they were going to run the ball. You knew Derrick Henry hadn't played since week 8, I believe. So, I wasn't expecting a big game from Derrick Henry. For him to do what he did was spectacular, considering the fact you get thrown right into the playoffs. But I believe Ryan Tannehill just wasn't ready. I mean, you look at his numbers, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, but you had a monster game from A.J. Brown. You know what I mean? 5 receptions for 142 yards. However, they were able to keep Tannehill in check. They were like, okay, you can dink and dunk to A.J. all you want, but we're not going to let you score. We're not going to let you score. Derrick Henry is going to have to beat us. You're going to have to depend on somebody that just came out of surgery to beat us. And Cincinnati came in with a great game plan. That front four made life tough for Ryan Tannehill. Made life tough.
Greg, there's a question a lot of people are asking. After the performance Ryan Tannehill did, which again, not really the best. People are saying that Tennessee should move on from Ryan Tannehill.
Absolutely.
Okay, then you clearly are dumb. Clearly.
Well, here's
you like Ryan Tannehill?
Fuck yeah.
I'm not.
Excuse my French.
When I talk about Ryan Tannehill, okay, you can get a worse quarterback. I understand that, but if you have a chance to go bring in a Aaron Rodgers,
but you don't have that chance
to bring in any top quarterback, you're gonna let Ryan Tannehill go.
No, not necessarily.
No,
because no top quarterback is going to come to Tennessee's system because of Derrick Henry. They have to accept the role that he's the first and primary offensive option and not a quarterback. And that's kind of why Tennessee's going to be stuck with – I'm not going to say stuck with Tannehill because Tannehill's the perfect quarterback for the Titan system. Yeah. But you're not going to get like a top 5 QB unless Derrick Henry's not there because no quarterback's going to want to go to a system where they're only throwing 20 times. When Derrick Henry's getting 35 touches, they're going to want to be the ones throwing the ball 35 times.
Someone said, what is it with me liking decent QB?
I missed
Ryan Tannehill is not decent. He's better than that.
He's better than decent.
What people are doing?
He's above average.
You guys, no. I'm being serious.
No.
What you guys are doing is getting one game and trying to build his legacy off of that. That is why, Mike. That's why I stopped talking to you in the group chat. That's why I stopped. That's 110% why I stopped. Because
Ryan,
if you're gonna sit there and get one game and build off his legacy, by your logic, you can now say what? Kyler Murray, he's horrible. He's dog water. He's not nice. Like, do you see how easy it is to do that based off of one game?
I hear you, Pride. I just think he's an above average quarterback. He does great things, but I'm not gonna sit here and put him over 10 other guys in this league.
100%, I am.
I can't.
no.
I think he's like in the bottom end of a top 10 quarterback.
No, Tannehill, he's not top
I got him
10.
solely
He's
at
not
15.
Nah, bro, you're bugging. I don't have him at 15. 15 is where I have Baker.
No.
I got Baker in like that 15-ish
No.
area.
I got
That's-
Baker in my 20s.
And so let me guess,
Wow.
Justin Fields is top 10. Like, come on, you need to do better.
I got Justin Fields at 31 right now.
Y'all crazy, bro.
Until he does anything.
Y'all crazy.
Right, well, Ryan Tannehill showed this is now the second playoff game where there was like, okay, Ryan, this is it. We need this drive. And he could not do it.
And you forced it to a one receiver who had 5 guys covering him.
There it is.
You guys are picking one guy. By the way, it wasn't 5 guys, so stop saying that. Stop saying that.
It was more
It
than
wasn't
2.
5 guys.
It was more than
2 or 3, one of them.
Stop saying that. And the reason that gets me tight is because if any other quarterback does that throw, bro, he about it, yo. He trusts his receiver.
Nah, bro.
Yes, bro. Yes, because I've seen
wouldn't
y'all
say- I
do
wouldn't
it.
be saying
I've
that.
seen you guys do
You
it.
ain't seen me do it because I told
I've
Rodgers the
seen
same
you
thing.
do it. I've seen you do it.
When?
Matthew Stafford, like Cooper Kupp, all the time.
Mm-mm.
Tom Brady, all the time.
They weren't even covering my boy
Out of
yesterday.
your mind, man. Out of your mind.
Mm-mm.
Look, all I'm saying, when he targeted it, but I forgot homeboy's name, but when he targeted him, any other quarterback does that throw, we're saying trust his receiver.
Now, who do you throw that ball to? Who do you throw that ball to?
Apparently someone he trusted.
It wasn't AJ and it wasn't Julio.
Doesn't matter. First of all, Julio didn't even have that great of a game.
But you understand what I'm saying is it wasn't your 1 and it wasn't your 2.
But again, you can't say that because how many times have we seen Joe Burrow go to Tyler Boyd and Tyler Boyd isn't his 1 or his 2?
I'm not in that moment. You ain't seen it like that though.
But yes, you have.
It's always Jamar T.
I don't know, man, because I've seen plenty of games where Jamar wasn't targeted because other guys was getting their touches, and Tyler Boyd.
No, definitely, but to that
magnitude.
magnitude, don't go against a guy who's being triple covered.
So in that magnitude, what you only go AJ Brown or bust then? Because then if he goes AJ Brown or bust, then the knock on him is that he doesn't trust anyone.
This is a knock on Aaron Rodgers, and he lives with it.
Yeah.
No, it's not a knock on Aaron Rodgers. The knock on Aaron Rodgers is the postseason. Because we've got years and years.
No, but that's what I
years.
mean. Like, here's my thing. Like, okay, so Randall Cobb is on a one-on-one, Lazard's on a one-on-one, and Devontae Adams is getting triple covered. And Aaron's going to force it to Devontae, and Aaron's going to do it 10 times out of 10 times because he doesn't trust any of the other wide receivers.
I don't think he forces it to him.
Not to say he
Lazard,
forced it, but if Adams is out there, he's going with Adams.
Yeah, on that last
To an
pass,
extent.
Adams was double covered. He had Lazard wide open. But
that was what in the second half?
No, that fourth quarter. When it was
fourth quarter, right? That was the second half?
Yeah.
I already made my thoughts known about what he do in the second half. I already made my thoughts known.
I'm just waiting for that game.
And what you said was valid. What you said was valid.
I didn't say it was valid.
No, what you said was, to me, like, is valid.
What do you mean?
Like, your comments on him in the second half of games.
Oh, yeah, no, bro. I've been saying this. I've been saying that forever.
Yeah,
I've been saying that forever.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm telling you, bro. I've been saying that. But why can't you be with me on Ryan? How about this? Let's agree to disagree. I will meet you in the middle. Can we say 13? Agree to disagree.
And that's where I was telling you yesterday. I was like, you know what? Honestly, like, if you are to take out Watson, if you are to take out like other, like, even if
got
you
to take
wanna-
out Watson, he's not playing.
No,
You have to take
definitely.
him out.
But my thing with Watson is he's not suspended. He's just not
So
playing.
okay, Mike, is he playing?
That's my thing. If he plays, I put Tannehill at 15. But if you want to take out what Russ has been doing, if you want to take out what Watson's situation is, I definitely could put him at 13. I definitely could.
Right.
But like, if you put that's what Tony is
I'm his own defender.
Greg, just for you, it was everybody's healthy, top 15 guys. Where do they go? And every situation's fixed. Watson isn't a weirdo. It's everything's perfect.
But again, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No,
because
that's what I'm saying.
It's never going to be. No, but you can't say that. You got to take with what you got now.
Right.
Because if that's the case, then I can go, okay, then Tom Brady, let's put him in a time machine, go back in time. Let's get him back, 7 years, and let's put him in. You can't really say that. Like, you got to roll with what you got.
No, and that's what I'm saying. If it's everything's perfect and it's the start of a season, I'll put him at 15. If it's as of right now, I'll give him 13. I'll give him 13 right now.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to say 13 to 15, that's fine.
You know what, Greg? I don't like you, Greg.
You're arguing that Ryan Tannehill is a top 10 quarterback?
I think he's at 10. I think he's at 10.
So who do you have under him?
What do you mean? Who can I under him?
I'm saying
it's gonna be a hot take. I don't rock with Matthew Stafford like that. Do with that information.
Wow.
And that's a personal reason right there.
He proved himself yesterday.
He finally
proved himself.
How you don't rock with?
So hold on. So he plays one game and it proves himself.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, he proved it.
He proved it.
He proved his entire career. He proved it. He never once had a shitty season. Not once.
He took it. He took advantage of a situation that he's never been in since he's been in the NFL. And I have to say, because I was shaky about Matthew Stafford because I questioned whether he could get the job done. And that man went out there and answered all questions. To do that against Tom Brady when it was on the brink of a miraculous Tom Brady quarterback, I thought Tom Brady magic was about to happen. Now that is a strike against Todd Bowles.
So if only 2 games prove it.
Come on, man.
Only 2 games prove it.
It's not just 2 games, bro.
Justin,
at the games that he played.
Justin.
Yeah.
You seem like you're going to be the only logical dude here. Now, mind you, I'm saying that, and I guarantee you're going to turn your back on me. Am I out of pocket for saying, judging one dude off of one game? I don't think that's fair.
Are you just judging him based off of what he did with the Rams or what he did in his first 2 playoff games with the Lions?
I'm talking about everything as a collective.
Justin, before you go, I want my stat guy to answer this. Is over 4,000 yards in 8 years out of 10 in Detroit. Is that not great football?
No, that is great. That is great football.
Okay.
But you even got, when he made the playoffs with the Lions, he was 0-2 in those 2 games with the Lions. But he had 812 yards passing with 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's not the one that lost those games for the Lions. It was the Lions' atrocious defense that couldn't stop a cold if they tried.
Free my boy.
But he goes to the Rams, and the first game against the Cardinals, he doesn't play Matthew Stafford football because he doesn't need to. They had a running game that was working, and they basically changed the game plan mid-game and just told Stafford, make the throws you need to make. We know you can do it, and he did what he needed to do. Going to the game against Tom Brady yesterday, Stafford had one of the best first halves he's ever had in his career, and no one's going to take that away from him. Everything that he did in that first half, it was just completely flawless. And yes, I understand that Tampa Bay had injuries. Yes, I understand that they had some blown assignments, but he still played at a Tom Brady level that entire first half.
Right.
So many people are going to sit here and blame Matthew Stafford for the second half downfall when none of that was his fault. 4 fumbles by the Rams. None of them came out of the hands of Matthew Stafford. It was Cam Akers, it was Cooper Kupp, and it was everybody else not named Matthew Stafford that was letting Tampa Bay get back into that game. Regardless what happens next week or regardless what happens to Stafford during the rest of his Rams career, his legacy is going to be defined by that one throw to Cooper Kupp to set up the game-winning field goal. Just because it was a throw that Tom Brady would typically make in a game-on-the-line situation. But this time it's Matthew Stafford basically proving to everyone that's ever doubted him that give me a chance to play in a moment like this. This is the throw that I can make.
Okay. All right.
That was a big-time throw in a big-time moment. I mean, to stop the momentum after it looked like once again
I'm learning a lot here. I'm
Tom Brady and
Yep.
playoff Lenny.
Mhm.
Playoff Lenny showed up.
I'm
He
learning
did.
a lot from y'all. I'm learning a lot. You know, if y'all don't mind, I want to have another show during the day where I just learned from y'all. So now Matthew Stafford is goated. Tom Brady is dog shit.
Nobody is saying
Oh,
he's
yeah.
goated,
And
man.
Ryan Tannehill is completely horrible, and Blake Bortles is better than him.
You on?
I'm
bro.
learning from y'all.
Are
I'm
you really
learning.
trying to argue that Ryan
I'm learning.
Tannehill is
No,
better than Matthew
I'm
Stafford?
learning.
Are
I'm
you trying to
learning.
argue that?
I am learning from y'all. I'm learning. Because listen, every day I feel like you should try to learn something new. I feel like that. So now I learned more. I learned a lot. So Tom Brady's horrible. So let's just check that off. Stafford is now the new GOAT. Okay, let's check that off.
That's my king.
Yep. Okay, congratulations. Ryan Tannehill is horrible. And to one up at Blake Bortles is better than him. I'm learning a lot from you guys.
Do you consider Jared Goff a good quarterback?
I think he's okay.
Okay, but then that's kind of the point that I made with Stafford, though, because look at how Jared Goff was in the Rams system. Jared Goff played at an MVP level the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think they're okay.
You send him to Detroit, and he looks absolutely terrible. Granted, Detroit doesn't have a lot of help to give him.
That's different.
But I'm just saying,
Jared Goff isn't a dude who elevates anybody.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford put up great numbers
dude.
in Detroit, though. But nobody ever gave him the credit he deserved because Detroit's organization is probably one of the two worst organizations in the NFL. They don't know how to build a winning team. They don't know how to
look at it, but I look at it different because I don't look at it as just him being in Detroit. I just look at it as Jared Goff isn't a dude who can carry anything.
No, I agree with you there. I'm just saying just the knock on Matthew Stafford from being in Detroit. If Matthew Stafford would have put up the numbers he put up in Detroit for any other team, and consistently made the playoffs or consistently came close, he would not have the knocks on him that he does. It's the fact that he made the playoffs twice in 10 years.
There's only really one knock on him.
It was just the
playoffs.
Yeah,
that was the main knock on him.
And then you can't really blame him because he averaged 4,300 yards passing and 36 touchdowns a year. That's definitely not his fault the team ain't getting to the playoffs. It's everything else around him that just wasn't there when he was there. He finally got to a team where he has
you're
everything.
Transcendent talent and you're phenomenal and other stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, Jared Goff doesn't make that throw that Stafford did, so
he does.
With Jared Goff, they would have lost that game.
We've seen him do. Hold on, but we've seen him do it before now.
We have seen Goff do it.
Yeah, we have. Now again, I think Jared Goff is an okay dude. I just think he needs the perfect storm around him. Yeah. That's just how I feel about him.
And that's why they ultimately lost the Super Bowl, is because the perfect storm at the time was Todd Gurley, and Todd Gurley went down.
Todd Gurley had his whole thing.
He had arthritis or something in his knee and didn't play.
Tendonitis. It was something like that.
Something that messed him up. But
it's
definitely something that they weren't game planning for and they weren't ready for. There was no depth.
Because I feel like if they knew that was going to happen, like if they knew a couple weeks ahead of time, I feel like they would have been able to come up with a game plan and.
Yeah,
maybe who knows,
right?
But let me stop. But again, I'm learning. I'm under the learning tree in tutelage.
It's Stafford season. Full throttle. We're coming for your boy next, Greg. We're coming for your boy next.
Interesting.
All right.
The next game, I know this is the one Dustin wants to talk about. He wants to talk about this one bad. The 49ers. Beating Green Bay in a game where I'll be honest, I thought this was the easiest pick of all the games. Maybe it's me. Mike is so immature. Maybe it was me because if I'm mistaken, most of us here had picked the Niners, correct?
Yeah.
Most of us had picked the Niners. But
I didn't.
Yeah, we were.
There's a reason I picked Green Bay because every time I pick somebody,
he did say that. No, I remember that. I remember Mike did say that he said I'm picking Green Bay because he said every time I pick Green Bay they lose. He did say that. I remember now. So let's give him his credit.
I picked Green Bay, and that's because I felt this was a legacy game for Aaron Rodgers, which it was.
It was a legacy game, just not the way he wants it.
And right. And the choke artist showed up. I mean, that bad man was bad, man.
And I'll tell you something. Rob knows what's been going on over here in Chicago. He understands pride. When the Milwaukee Bucks made a tweet that morning defending Grayson Allen for what he did to Alex Caruso, I knew right then and there, some way, somehow, Chicago is going to beat Green Bay tonight.
I have yet to see that tweet, by the way.
They basically said they support Grayson Allen for what he did to Caruso, and they disagree with the 1-game suspension.
Mm-hmm. And then here comes Robbie Gould, the former Chicago Bear. He said, "Fuck your life."
Hold on. Did y'all happen to see, before we get into it, and Dustin, I'm gonna start with you, but did y'all see what happened pregame? The Packers are doing the introduction.
And he was kicking field goals.
When I saw that, I was like, on my mother, this man is kicking a game winner, and he needs to do what Baker Mayfield did in college. When he was on the sideline, he started grabbing his stuff, and he was just like, "Hey, yo, you know what to do." I was like, "Robbie finna hit this thing," and that's what everyone was saying on Twitter.
He played for Chicago, right? Straight Savage.
Yes, he played for Chicago. He used to play for Chicago. So when I saw that, and me and everybody on Twitter said the same thing. This man hitting the game winner. We said everyone was saying this before the first snap, because there's no way a kicker is that brave and it does not end in a field goal. There's just no way. There's just no way. So Dustin.
Hey, shout out shout out to Aaron Rodgers, because you said you owned us, but it seems like the 49ers own you.
Real quick, by the way, Rob, that line you put in the group chat, I need you to hold on to it. Because when it's your turn, I need you 110% to be there. By the way, Anthony Price says, "I'm just saying, don't yell at me. Do you blame Rodgers or special teams?"
Doesn't matter.
I blame special teams.
Doesn't matter.
Well, but here's the thing. I do blame special teams, because special teams little fumbled. But let's be fair here. As the quarterback, when you start dinking and dunking it, when you see the writing is on the wall, that is now your fault.
I don't even think it's that pride. I think when you look at it at the end of the day, one single touchdown from your clear-cut MVP, but
hold on, let's be fair. The MVP is a regular season award.
No, I hear you, but I'm saying you're supposed to be the most valuable player every single day, whether it's regular season or not. You didn't have a single touchdown.
But hold on, before we get into it, Dustin, because I know you said you've had a lot in here. Dustin, spotlight.
Well, there's a reason they call him good as gold, because he's 20 for 20 in field goal attempts in playoffs. He just does not miss when he has a field goal attempt in the playoffs. So I'm going to give Robbie Gould that right away, just because he's 20 for 20 now, all time in kicking field goals in the postseason.
Why did the Bears let him go? Oh my God.
Because it's from the top down. They thought he was getting too old and didn't have the leg anymore.
I'm just saying, just thinking about when that dude Prater missed the field goal.
At the time they let Robbie go, he had his worst career season. He did.
Yeah, I know.
That is true. Yeah, but you should have rocked with him.
Actually, I didn't want him gone, but
you understood.
It was valid.
Yeah. But let's get back to the Aaron Rodgers talk for a moment here. This is your so-called three-time MVP now, back-to-back MVPs, possibly. We don't know. Four-time, but he's three-time right now. We don't know if he's going to get the award this year. And you come out with a 20 for 29, very efficient night passing for 228 yards. But you got to remember, you had a 75-yard pass to Aaron Jones at the end of the first half that resulted in a blocked field goal. Take away that 75-yard pass, you end up with 153 yards passing on 19 completions, which is less than 20 yards better than Jimmy Garoppolo. So in other words, you played just as well as Jimmy Garoppolo and had no touchdowns to show for your so-called MVP season. Going a bit further, you want to sit here and say you own the Chicago Bears. Well, guess what? The 49ers own you, because you are 0-4 in the playoffs against the 49ers. 0-2 against Kaepernick. 0-2 against Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's go a little bit further on that. Of the last five games at Lambeau Field, three of the last five cold weather games at Lambeau Field have been five of the coldest games all time. And Aaron Rodgers is 0-2 in those games, both losses coming to the 49ers. Brett Favre is 0-1 in those games, with that loss coming to the Giants. Nobody fears coming to Green Bay in January anymore, because the cold weather affects the Packers more than it affects these other teams coming in. Aaron Rodgers is also 6-9 in the playoffs since winning his Super Bowl in 2010. So all this conversation about he is the greatest quarterback of all time and deserves to be in this greatest quarterback of all time conversation, I will give it to him and say he might be the greatest regular season quarterback in NFL history because his regular season numbers back it up, from the completion percentage to the touchdown to interception ratio, the wins as a starter, everything like that. He might be the greatest quarterback in the regular season that anybody has ever seen. But come the playoffs, he's mediocre at best. Yes, the special teams let him down on Saturday. No one's going to argue that. A blocked field goal, a blocked punt for a touchdown. Yeah, special teams let him down. But you want to sit here with your buddy Davante Adams and basically put out these tweets during the beginning of the season saying, this is our last dance. This is the year we're going to do it. This is the year we're going to do it. And that's the offensive performance that you put on display. Not only should you be ashamed of yourself, but you should be taking all the blame that you've ever put on anybody else for any of these losses and shoulder and say, I did not do enough for this franchise. You had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers for 32 years patrolling your quarterback position, and you have 2 rings to show for it. That is a slap in the face to not only the Packer organization, that is a slap in the face to football fans who appreciate good quarterback play. And what the Packers saw on Saturday night, if this is the end for Aaron Rodgers and if this is the end for Davante Adams, their legacy took a major hit because this is the kind of football you might see from them for the next couple of years. They're $47 million over the cap as it is. They're going to have to go into some sort of a rebuild mode just to even have a shot to bring one of those 2 guys back. Rodgers has already said he's not going to be part of a rebuild mode, so you can pretty much count him out if you can't. Realistically, they have to shed $90 million right now to even have a shot to bring Rodgers and Adams both back. Just to get one of them back, they have to get rid of $60 to $70 million.
Right, but I don't.
That's not going to happen. So at this point, you can pretty much count. You can pretty much count Rodgers out at this point. And just watching him play, he gave up. He literally gave up after that blocked punt tied things up because he got the ball with 3 minutes and 12 seconds left, where all he needed to do was realistically take 2 minutes off the clock, get Mason Crosby in the field goal range, and set up the winning field goal. So what does he do? First pass, illegal man downfield, 10-yard penalty. Okay, fine, we'll redo it. First pass, 3-yard out to Davante Adams. Well, that ain't going to do you crap. Second pass, let's throw across the field for a near pick 6 that the cornerback drops. Oh, that looked like a Brett Favre throw from 2007 trying to hit Donald Driver when it was picked off by the Giants. What happens on the next play? Let's throw a 50-yard bomb downfield in a triple coverage to Davante Adams when I had Randall Cobb 15 yards wide open over the middle for a flat. That reminds all these Packer fans of 2000.
And if I'm not mistaken, Dustin, if he hits Randall Cobb, that's an automatic first, right?
It's more than an automatic first. It's about a 34-yard gain that would put him in field goal range. But that series right at the end of the game before the Niners got the ball back reminded every single Packer fan of 2007 when the Packers lost to the Giants. That's basically how Brett Favre went out. He had one terrible series which set up the game-winning field goal for Lawrence Tynes. Aaron Rodgers has a bad game and then one terrible series that sets things up for Jimmy Garoppolo, Deebo Samuel, and Robbie Gould. And now you have all the questions coming out of Lambeau Field with everybody shaking their head.
And it's kind of funny you said you compared it to the Giants game because during the show, Michael Strahan actually said, bro, this Niners game, this Niners team reminds me of my Giants team. It's kind of funny you made that comparison because not only did he say that, but he felt like everybody else, a lot of other people felt like that. By the way, real quick, someone said, did y'all see in here Jimmy yell after the Packers? I laughed.
Jimmy from Illinois.
Yeah, but I laughed because I was like,
that's just how Jimmy is.
Michael Strahan's not wrong, though.
I mean,
with what he said, because the Giants were 6-6 that year. When the Giants ripped off those 4 straight wins to get in, the 49ers were 6-7. They had to win their last 3 games just to get in.
Yes. And then all of a sudden they just hit fire. So, but Mike, there was something you wanted to rebuttal on.
I don't. For Dustin's point, I don't think they get rid of Rodgers. Just because of the dead cap right now, it's more money to trade him than to keep him at this point in time.
Hold on,
it is.
Fact check me. Somebody fact check me. This is his last year.
Dead cap.
No, but this is his last year.
It's
because they voided it last year.
It's a weird constructed deal. Me and Randy were doing it on Touchdown Crew. We were talking all about it, and Randy was informing me on a lot of stuff. And I wish Randy was here because he can explain it so much better. But basically, they still have the rights to him. It's a weird thing. It's weird. Whatever it is a weird situation.
Yeah. So that Rodgers has a deal worth $26.9 million for next year.
Yeah.
He had it negotiated into his contract where 2023 has now become a voided year. So 2023 means nothing. But he's still on the hook for $26.9 million next year, which means if the Packers were to cut him, it's a $23 million cap hit. So you know they're not going to cut him. If they trade him, they're on the hook for half of that. So if they trade him, they still got to pay him $14 million, which obviously it's a lot better than $26, $27 million, which he's going to get paid.
Right.
But even at that point, even to afford that, how do you shed that $46 million to afford that? Just to get to the point where you can afford it.
And you want to trade him for a quarterback because you don't want to get rid of Devontae. You don't want to get rid of other guys. So you'd have to pay Rodgers $14 million, Carson Wentz probably $20-something million, or you could think of a Ryan Tannehill $20-something million or someone along those lines. Even if it's Matt Ryan, he's making good money. So you have to look at it and think that's $35 to $40 million you're spending solely on your quarterback. Then you have to tag Devontae Adams, which is like $18-20 million. You have what, Dustin, like $40-something million to really play with?
Well, I did the math last night just because I was looking at the cap situation. So if we keep the Packers numbers where they are right now, $46 million over, and let's just say they bring Adams back for $20 million, which is what his franchise tag would be. And if they give Rodgers the extension he wants, that's $35 million a year most likely. So that's $55 million between those two. Add that on to the $46 million that they're behind right now. That puts them $100 million over the cap. So just to get in a position to sign those two, they would have to get rid of roughly $70 million right now just to get $40 million under. And even at that point, they would still be $15 million over if they brought both of them back.
It's going to be bad, bro. Like, it's going to be –
They have no idea like how difficult it's going to be to bring one of them back, let alone two, because you have to take into account $46 million just gets you to zero. But then you have to get another $20 million under just to get Adams to come back. You have to go even further down just to try to get Rodgers plus other pieces to come back. That team has basically put all their chips on the table this year, and it failed miserably in their face.
Right. And honestly, Pride, if I'm being real, I've said it for them time, and this is – I'll take off the hat. Like, I'll be honest about it. What I do is I blow the entire thing up. You trade Alexander, you trade Adams, you trade whatever you got to do. Trade for Deshaun Watson, and then just rebuild everything. Because right now they're not going to be in the spot to where the quarterback draft classes for the next couple of years are going to be solid. And free agent wise, guys just don't tend to leave. Like, that's just the reality of it. So if you don't want a Jimmy G, I would honestly rock out with Deshaun Watson. And tell him, like, we are going to build something for you.
But I don't know if you could sell that to Deshaun, because let's be fair. You know who was the same person who said that to him? Texans. Now look,
there's difference with that though.
Nah, bro, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, because let's be fair here. They killed themselves for A-Rod. Now look at them. You think the Packers going to do this again?
Right. My thing is just more of they can promise him an NFC championship game, and then the rest is in your hands. And that's all he wants is a shot. That's all he's ever wanted is a shot.
So you're talking about leave the offense how it is and just blow up the defense? Is that what you're saying?
I would blow up the entire defense. Because the defense is a lot of money, and they have those linebackers in that secondary. Alexander's going to be getting paid a lot, and there's a lot of guys. But I think you still have to part ways with Adams. I don't think there's any way you can realistically just keep him. There's no way.
No, I think you can.
And you know where it all starts? And I say it time and time again. It starts with paying Aaron Jones. Because Dylan looks amazing, and he's on a rookie deal. Like
you realistically in the Packers side of things, they should have kept Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon.
Yeah.
Instead of giving Aaron Jones the extension they did, because that put them in much more of a salary cap hell than they already were.
Right. They did not need to do that. And I get Aaron's great, but number one, if you guys know Jamal Williams, what a hell of a guy. Just a fun guy.
I love him. Did y'all see that? Y'all see the first one he did with the Lions, and he was like, "Yo, the Packers ain't want me." He's like, "Well, shoot."
Packers are like my ex-girlfriend that didn't want me. The Lions are like my new girlfriend that wants me. Of course, I'm gonna come here.
Ever since that, I was like, you know what? Ever since that, I was like, you know what? I hope you get a rushing title just for that. I was like, I hope you get a rushing title, yo.
I love Jamal Williams. But no, it starts with just signings like that, and they have offensive linemen who are over the age of 30 getting paid top dollar. And
Bakhtiari was a mistake signing too, which is going to haunt them for years down the road.
Right, and he's going to be there for a while, and there's no moving that. So the biggest problem to that is like the Chicago Bears and the Cincinnati Bengals wouldn't even trade for that man, a 7th-round pick, because of the financial cap that he puts you in. It's just the reality of that. Like, we'll get sacked 9 times a game before we take that contract. That's just the reality of it.
And my parents almost disowned me this year because of the comment that I made about the Aaron Rodgers and the Packers situation this year. I said Aaron Rodgers just basically pulled a LeBron James, basically telling the Packers what he wanted, and the Packers gave him what he wanted, and he couldn't do what they asked him to do. He wanted Bakhtiari extended, got him. He wanted Randall Cobb back on offense, got him. He wanted Aaron Jones back on the extension, got him. He wanted more help on the defense, especially in the linebacker, got the help. And then
wanted more control
when you had a chance to deliver.
Well,
he wanted more control.
So
and they gave him that too.
I said Pride and I talked about it. I'm just saying I think they win that game if Odell's on that team, but that's a conversation for.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
They do.
I don't think they do. I don't think that you want to know why? Because I think at the end of the day, because I originally thought that, but then the more I thought about it, I don't think Odell makes a difference there, because you got to understand when the writing's on the wall for Aaron Rodgers, he don't care in the
post. Because what did you see Tom Brady doing yesterday down 27-3? He was like getting on like his offense. He was like getting on his team, like going after them. Yeah. Packers were up 10-3. What was Aaron Rodgers doing? Nothing. He was showing no emotion.
They're sitting there.
Like he knew that his time in Green Bay was coming to an end, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. So like he didn't even show any emotion. He just stood there like a popsicle in the freezer.
And that's
because he literally knew that no matter what he tried to do, what he promised Green Bay was not going to happen.
Right.
He was immunized. He was immunized from getting touchdowns.
Talk to him, Rob.
No, listen, bro. Rob said that in the group chat. I almost peed my pants, bro. And then Skip Bayless tried to tweet that after. I was like, no, bitch. Like, no.
You said it. Rob said it.
Rob said it first.
Literally, as soon as it was over, Rob said it. And like 2 minutes later, Skip tweeted it. I was like, and then somebody put it in the group chat. I said, no. We gonna give Rob some respect because he said it first. I don't care what no one's saying, bro. Like Skip, like Big Brother, bro. He in all our phones somehow, bro. And nah.
God, that made me thinking my thoughts.
Well, let me ask you. You know what? I just have to say this about Aaron Rodgers, man. Go ahead. Dustin, I love that sermon you gave. You was preaching, brother.
Real quick, you got a collection basket, brother?
I'm telling you, can the church say amen?
Amen, brother.
That was
because what I have to say is I agree 100% with what Dustin said. He is the greatest regular season quarterback we've ever seen. When it comes to the postseason, he is a no-show and a no-go. That's just ridiculous.
Like me in bed.
And why did the Packers even win the Super Bowl he was the quarterback at? It wasn't because of him. It was because Nick Collins had a pick six. It was because the Packers forced 3 turnovers of Ben Roethlisberger. He didn't put the team on his back and win that.
And let's be fair. Before that, if you go rewatch the game, Aaron Rodgers did the same exact thing he always does. We're losing, okay. Then the defense been playing, and all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers felt like, maybe I should play now.
Yeah, like Charles Woodson was the reason why they won that ring. It wasn't because of Aaron Rodgers.
He is a diva.
Yeah,
all
that
commotion he caused in the offseason, and this is what you give us. This is what you give the Packer Nation. That's horrible.
Aaron Rodgers' leadership skills are horrible. You see with the great quarterbacks, whether it's Brady or Patrick, when their team is down, they're saying, "Hey, come on, y'all, come on, we got
Hey, come on, guys. We gotta
Come
get
on,
it together,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Because they
can't
know
blame
they
him because I mean he did sit behind
with
Brett Favre
Rodgers,
for
he
3
can't
years.
do it.
No, well, it's just because
Who made that sound?
Who made what sound?
Oh, that's
Pride.
wrong.
I didn't
talk
do
about
nothing.
pride.
What I do? What did
That
I
was
do?
actually the most perfect Mahomes voice I've heard. Actually, for somebody else doing it.
That wasn't right. That wasn't right.
But no, like, but
But
here's the thing, like, and again, I just think Aaron Rodgers the problem he has that he kind of separates himself from everybody. Like Tom,
He
is
makes
like,
it easy to hate him.
Yeah, but the thing with Tom, Tom is like, look, bro, I'm everybody. Like, I'm one of them. Like, if I mess up, yell at me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there are times that Tom Brady gonna get mad and yell back, of course, but that's just that's most guys. But more times than not, if you yell at Tom, how many times has Bruce Arians been on the sideline ripping Tom a new one?
Not many.
And Tom, but the few times he does it, what is Tom doing? He's
Like
just
he
standing
shakes
there,
his
like,
head and he kind of like nods. He's like, okay, I get it. Yeah.
and he takes it. He takes all the time. Like,
And Bruce
even
Arians
Patrick
will rip
Mahomes.
Todd publicly.
Yes. And listen, and to your credit, even though I make fun of him, but Patrick Mahomes, when anyone, Eric Bieniemy, in his face,
He takes it.
Andy Reid,
he takes it.
killing him, he takes it, and he's nodding, and when he talks back, he's not talking back, and you don't know what he's talking about. He's talking back because I remember there was one game he was mic'd up. They're yelling him, and he's talking back like
what I saw compared to like what he saw.
Like this is what I saw. I'm listening to you. So is this what I should have done? It's one of those things where he's trying to understand it. Matt LaFleur steps near Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers already is like, I will get you fired. By the way, you cool peoples. Like, let's like, and then every time they're down, Tom is still trying to pick his guys. Listen, for as much as I poo-poo on this dude, at least the bare minimum this dude does. Matthew Stafford, win, lose, or draw. He is still on the sidelines talking to dudes. He's still trying to get other people involved. He's still talking to me. He's still trying to keep morale up. Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that because he thinks people have put him on this pedestal that, frankly, he never deserved to be on.
There it is.
And the funny thing is, remember when he got drafted? What was the first thing ESPN asked him? Are you upset that you didn't get drafted by the 49ers? And his response was, not as upset as they're going to be for not drafting me. Well, guess what? They're 4-0 against you in the playoffs. Do you think they're upset that they drafted you? No, because they knew you couldn't win when it mattered.
They played that on repeat on Twitter. They had that thing with him saying, "Oh yeah, you're gonna regret it." They had that on repeat, and I was like, God dang.
Yeah, it was bad.
It comes back to our favorite word that starts with the letter A. Accountability. Aaron Rodgers has no accountability. He's like that little brother that always gets in trouble. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's the coordinator's fault. It's Mike McCarthy's fault. It's LaFleur's fault.
Rob, and this is what I was asking after it. Who you gonna blame? Because if you blame anybody, you could lead everything back to Aaron Rodgers. Like Dustin said, he had a 75-yard dot? He had a 70-yard pass to, what was it, Aaron Jones, was it?
75-yard pass to Aaron Jones to set up that field goal in the first half that was blocked.
If you take that away, so that's one completion. So then he would have went 19 for 28 for what?
152 yards.
152 yards?
And I think he had like another 25-yard completion in the first quarter too. So you could even go a bit further and say he was 18 of 27 for like $120.
And I've said this all the time. When Aaron Rodgers sees the writing on the wall in the postseason, he just goes, all right, cool. My stats look cute, and that's it. I've been saying, and nobody wanted to believe me. And I'm like, look, man, I'm telling y'all, this is what Aaron Rodgers does. He's been doing this the whole time. People got mad at me for it. And I'm like, look, one day, the reality will be leaked, and Aaron Rodgers won't be able to control the narrative anymore.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, and people are saying it's special teams, but somebody made a comment earlier. Let me see if I can find it, because honestly, this right here hit it on the head. It was something along the lines of, if you're letting special teams decide the game, you deserve blame.
Exactly. And like I said in my thing, just because the Niners blocked that punt to tie it up, he had 3 minutes and 12 seconds with the ball to basically go down the field and score. And he moved the ball 3 yards and took 44 seconds off the clock.
This is what I'm saying.
Unreal.
You have the arguably one of the best receivers in football, if not the best receiver in football, Devontae Adams. You're supposed to be top 5 quarterback in his eyes. He believes he's the best to ever do it.
Mhm.
You cannot score a touchdown.
No.
That is horrible. That is no excuse for that. You lost by 3 points, 10-13. You couldn't score one touchdown. That's all they needed. So Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just as mad at the 49ers for not scoring 14 points. So that's a topic for a different day.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers lived up to the nickname of the fellow Green Bay Packers. He's a cheesehead.
100%.
You know?
And again, maybe one day more people will accept the fact that he's just a one-hit wonder who accidentally stumbled into a Super Bowl ring.
Go on Facebook later and open up a Packers page, and you will see Rodgers getting absolutely crucified today, and it is absolutely amazing.
It's about time.
Absolutely amazing.
It's about
that's
time.
good. That's good.
Because if anybody has
everyone's basically saying that
Rodgers.
they want him out at this point just because they can't handle the drama anymore. They can't handle the antics anymore. And it's at this point, they just think he's above the team and just want to move on from him, whether that means they suck for 5 years or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Shout out to that 49ers defense, though.
Oh, yeah, that front four.
That front four.
That's real.
It kind of reminds you. I was talking with one of my coworkers about this. It kind of reminds you of the Giants. Remember the Giants with Strahan and that front four that they had? It just animals, man. If I didn't hate Aaron Rodgers so much, I would have felt sorry for him.
And honestly, and Dustin, you just said something in the private chat. Debo.
Yeah.
There was some nasty hits he took. And my dude, for the most part, got up. There was one where he kind of just hopped off. I think it was his ankle. So luckily, I don't think it'll be not serious. It's gonna be interesting to see how they play.
I seen that. That shit hurt my heart.
Well, the funny thing is, before that play, this basically sums up the whole thing with Pride said when Rodgers knows the writing's on the wall, he gives up. Everybody in Lambeau Field knew Deebo Samuel was getting that ball on third down. You could have put all 53 Packers on the field because you knew exactly who was getting that ball on 3rd and 7. And what does he do? He gets 8.5 yards because for whatever reason, you still didn't think he was getting the ball.
What a time to be alive. Moving on to the next game. Y'all ever had someone just testing you? That's where I'm at in life right now. The Rams beat the Tampa Bay Bucks in a game. I said in the group chat, both teams should have lost. Nobody deserved to win. It was why I literally said in the group chat, look, bro, let's just give them both L's. Let's let the Niners go to the Super Bowl and just call it a day. Yeah, because it was a point where there was so many just give and goes. Like they kept giving the ball back to each other. It reminded me of the Lions versus Pittsburgh. Nobody wanted to win, so they were like, "Here you go." It was like, "Oh wait, it's our turn." If you insist, but no, please here. It just kept going back and forth.
Greg, Pride, check your phone in 1 second. I'm sending you something from one of the Packers reporters.
Oh my God, I cannot wait. But Greg, Tom Brady, and I've said this. I said this on another show. The game I was going to be watching was Tampa versus this game versus the Rams. I thought this was going to be the most important game, and the reason I thought that was because obviously in terms of talent, Bills, Chiefs, heck of a game. Let's not get it twisted. But I thought in terms of the storylines here, it was going to be interesting because if Tom lost, is this the beginning of the end for Tom Brady? Like, is this? Nah. And I see you shaking your head, Dustin, but I'm just saying, like, that was a legitimate question.
Right?
Is it the beginning of the end for him? In terms of the Rams, could Cam Akers keep it up? Matthew Stafford, if he loses, does this take a hit on his legacy? like a lot of questions kind of really was going in. Tom Brady, 30 for 54, horrible first half.
Very horrible.
Second half, it was literally a tale of two halves for Tom Brady. Second half, he went nuts.
I think he beat somebody up in the locker room before they came out on the second half.
I'm pretty sure AB was in the back in the locker room and he said something. I'm pretty sure Tom just beat him up.
Yeah.
But Dustin, the Rams won 30-27. Actually, no, let me start with Greg. 30-27. Especially with that end flurry, with everyone just giving the ball up, Cam Akers fumbling. Do you think the Rams really won? Or did the Bucks kind of just let them survive?
The Rams were doing everything possible to give this game away. And watching this game, I was like, so do y'all want Tom Brady to go to another Super Bowl, or what's really going on? Because they did everything wrong in that second half. But credit again, when it was time, Stafford hit the big play to Cooper Kupp. Everybody always said, well, no, not everybody. Skip Bayless always said Antoine Winfield Jr. was the best safety ever. He got burnt. So anyway, is this the end of Tom Brady? No, he'll come back next year. But I will say, I will go on record on this. Tom Brady will not win another Super Bowl. So mark it. January 24th, 2022. I said this. So Nate, save it.
So next year when he was interesting.
So that's the end as far as that, but he's going to continue playing. Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to continue. Yes.
All right, Dustin, to kind of piggyback off of Greg, he said he does continue to see him playing. Do you think he'll still be able to play at this MVP level? Or will we finally start to see the decline in Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.?
I mean, he's addicted to competition. So that alone is going to leave him playing until he feels like he's not competitive anymore. I don't think he has another season like he had this year again. But that doesn't mean you're going to start to see the decline just because he played out of his mind this year. He played better than he's ever had in his entire 22-year career this year. But if you go back to even when he was winning all those Super Bowls with New England, he was very content with having 3,700 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, and like 12 picks. That's basically the quarterback he was for 15 years. He had a couple good years, obviously, in New England when he had Randy Moss and all them, and then he goes to Tampa and he starts flinging 40 touchdowns. But if you get 28 to 32 touchdowns out of him, that's what all you need out of him because that's the type of player he's been his entire career. I mean, that's not like obviously people are going to say, well, he threw 44 touchdowns this year and 32 last year. He's on the downslide. It's like, no, that's just the type of player Brady's always been. He's never been a high touchdown pass guy. He's been someone that's worked within the system and utilized the weapons to the best of his ability. Yes, he has more weapons in Tampa Bay right now. He's got more weapons in Tampa Bay right now, which is why his numbers are where they are. But he still knows how to utilize that system to his strength. So even if he's missing guys like Chris Godwin and maybe some other pieces that he might not have next year, he's still going to utilize what he has as to the maximum ability. I'm not going to go on Greg's point and say that he will never win another Super Bowl because if Aaron Rodgers leaves the NFC, that basically opens the door for Brady to continue to rule the NFC until somebody else close to his level gets to the NFC. You don't know what's going to happen with Patrick Mahomes. Heaven forbid Mahomes tears an ACL or heaven forbid that Josh Allen or somebody gets hurt in the AFC. Tom Brady could still have a clear path to win again. So I'm not going to say that he's not going to win again, and I'm not going to say that he's not going to get back to the Super Bowl again, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as it has been for him. This is the first time since 2011 that he's not playing in the conference championship game. So you were going on 11 straight years where he was playing in that final playoff game. That's a long time for a quarterback, even in his 30s, to be doing that and now finally getting that extra week off. I don't see it being as easy as it has been for him, but whenever he's on the field, you can't count him out. And watching the second half of that Rams game, yes, the Rams tried to give it away. I was just sitting on my couch. I'm like, you really can't beat this guy in the playoffs, can you? No matter how good you play for 45 minutes, you really cannot kill this man in the playoffs. I just sat there. I'm like, if he wins this game, you really can't beat him. No matter what you do, you can't physically beat him. And then Matthew Stafford makes one throw, and it was just like, okay, Maybe you can beat him just once. Maybe he's going to be nice this year and let somebody else go to the NFC Championship game.
And real quick, because I said in the group chat that, you know, with Tom Brady, if you have him on your team, you know, there's a chance. Then they got interception, and then, you know, Mike, and then somebody else said, "Oh yeah, Brady got the interception."
He did.
No, Brady didn't get the interception.
He did.
However,
I saw him. He did.
However, where people like you who don't understand what football truly is about, and one of the Tom's greatest assets, his leadership. The defense was playing mad lackadaisical all game. They got the interception. Can someone remind me what happened before that interception, before that defense went on the field?
No idea.
Right, he was in the defense's face, talking to all of them and picking them all up.
Yeah.
So don't sit here. And again, you're shrugging.
Hey, Tom Brady is one of the.
Go ahead.
Tom Brady is one of the greatest leaders.
I think he's great.
Yes, he is.
I think he's the greatest by far. I think he's the greatest by far.
I felt like there was one time Tom wasn't a good leader, and still to his point, he was being a good leader with the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, because there was a kid coming in here thinking he was going to take the crown, and the only person that Tom was unfair to was the kid trying to take his job. So I don't even blame him for that. I think Tom's been nothing but an amazing leader his entire career.
But yeah, people say, "Oh my God, did Tom get the leadership? Or did Tom get the interception?"
He didn't.
Again, you know, football is hard. I get it. It's very difficult. Really is. But when the defense is playing horrible all game, then somebody comes and talks to you, and all of a sudden the entire defense, top to bottom, is playing with energy. I don't find that suspicious. Mind you, this is something Tom's been doing his entire career. This is not just like the first time.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember what Shady McCoy said. If you guys watch the I Am Athlete podcast with Brandon Marshall and Chad Ochocinco, they had Shady McCoy on there, and he was just talking about how it feels when you got TB12 on your side. Right. He was just saying how it is. You walk in the vicinity, everybody's happy, everybody's motivated, from the owners all the way down to the janitors. He said he can motivate a janitor to sweep the floor better. I mean, that's who Tom Brady is in a nutshell as a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, Rob. Tom Brady you didn't get the interception, so he doesn't deserve any credit.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the defense was playing horrible.
All I said was, because Rob, here's what happened.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because now you're going to backtrack. No, because now you're going to backtrack because your boy's not here.
No, because we're not going to sit here and pretend, though. We're going to pretend. Here's what happened. So they got an interception, Rob, and all I see in the comments, and it wasn't pride. It wasn't pride, granted. All I see is Tom Brady, and I went, what?
No, Rob, that's not true at all. That's not true at all, Rob. That's not true at all. Because before the interception, the only person who mentioned Tom Brady was me, and I said, look, if you got Tom, you still got a chance. Then it was an interception. Then his boy was like, oh, yeah, Tom got the interception, and then Mike then jumped on. So it wasn't that everybody was just screaming Tom Brady. No, I said it before that pick. He got the pick, and I wasn't even going to mention Tom. I wasn't going to mention. It was a good pick. It was a great pick. But again, to sit there and pretend that his leadership didn't have something to do with that when the defense has been playing horrible, and then Tom just happens to talk to them, and then after he talked, they just so happen to all of a sudden play with energy, play with passion, play like they wanted to be there.
Then Tom should be defensive coordinator then.
He's the quarterback.
Should be DC too.
He's the quarterback.
Well, I think a lot of the times where most of the Brady hate comes from, it's not just from him winning, and all that. I think most of it comes from there are some people in media that when Brady wins and they win all the Super Bowls, it's always like it's only him that did everything. Right. I'm not saying that's what it is. I know it's a team effort. Brady is a great leader of men. Mm-hmm. Yes. There are people in media, whether you want to blame it on Skip Bayless or whoever you want to blame it on.
I blame everything on Skip Bayless.
Even overdo things. Skip is my dude during basketball season, but we not all it's not all the way
Skip
for
is
basketball.
why there's world hunger. Skip is why there's gang violence. Skip is why everything is wrong in the world. He started COVID-19. Skip Bayless is the worst thing ever.
Skip, I never seen nothing like this before Bayless.
Right. Exactly. So
Every
that's
week
where
is
most of
something
that
Skip never
comes
seen.
from. It's from media when they kind of overhype whenever there's, Brady, when it's a comeback and all that. So that's where most of that hate comes from.
Right. And that's where I was coming from. I was kind of like, it's like I'm watching Fournette pop off and no one was talking about it. And I was just like, he's kind of doing his thing over there. There's a bunch of guys kind of doing their thing. Scotty Miller was doing their thing. But again, it was just like Tom is single-handedly doing this. And I love Tom. Tom was playing one hell of a second half. He was really doing his thing. But I was just kind of like, it's just that narrative pride where I was just kind of like, he's doing everything all over again, all by himself.
There was one play in that game where I had so much more respect for Stafford than I've had at any point in his career, and it's right after the Rams forced that Buccaneer fumble, and then the center snapped it when Stafford wasn't ready.
Jesus Christ!
Instead of Stafford throwing his helmet and like getting all mad, what did you see Stafford do? He literally sat down with the center on the sideline, and they were talking about the play as to like why he didn't want the snap at that point.
Right.
Like you could have seen Stafford like throwing his helmet down and like just like tearing into like the offensive line and tearing into the center.
Like, I'm not gonna lie,
he went over to the center and literally sat with him.
Right. Like Von Miller, horrible reaction to that. Horrible reaction to that. He looked defeated. He was pissed. He threw his helmet. I was just like, I hear you. You're tired, but like that's just I was just like, that's a bad look on Von.
Yeah, and like Stafford just goes and takes the center like away from the coaches and like sat with him on the corner of the bench like one-on-one, and they even zoomed in on it. Like they were both like talking about that play, and Stafford's like, I got you, you're fine.
Right. Yeah.
And then he went out, he played solid after that, right?
Yep.
So it's almost as if his leadership kind of helped him. But no, we're not allowed to say that about Tom Brady. My bad.
No, we're not.
Because Matthew Stafford, he says he's not stopping the ball. So he's not stopping the ball.
Matthew Stafford's God.
You can't say that. So it is what it is.
You know what though? When it comes to Tom Brady,
it's just hatred.
Just like when it comes to a lot of great players,
they just hate him.
People want to see.
You'll love him when he's gone.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, I disagree with that because I was one of the biggest Tom Brady haters for a while just because he always won, and I always got sick and tired of seeing the same person.
People hate winners.
But at the same time, I'm like, well, if he was on my team, damn well I'm not going to hate him.
Right.
And now that you've seen what he does, you're at a point now as a football fan that this is probably something you're never going to see again from anybody.
Right.
So you might as well sit there and enjoy it as long as you can enjoy it, even if he's not on your team.
Tom trash.
But that's how, you know what? I mean, but all the greats get that. Mike got it. Tom gets it. Floyd Mayweather got it.
Mm-hmm.
People hate winners.
Floyd still get it.
And Floyd don't even box no more. And he's
right. But anytime Floyd does,
he be doing his exhibitions, which again, I like that he says they're exhibitions and he says they don't count because
he might get his ass beat. But
I'll be honest with you.
he is almost 50.
Yeah, he's almost.
I'll be honest with you, dog. A lot of these younger dudes, the next generation of boxing is screwed, bro.
It's bad.
Throw it out there.
It's bad. Jake Paul is frontline in boxing right now, and that's atrocious.
To me that's a joke, and that's why
Ryan Garcia hasn't fought in over a year. That's atrocious to me. Like that's
bro with him and Tank talking mess with each other every other day, and then when the fight's supposed to happen, Tank gets arrested, Garcia gets hurt. Tank does something. It's ridiculous, bro.
But I'll say this, and to Rob and Dustin's point, though, I think Rob can agree too, especially for Bulls fans. I hated LeBron. I hated LeBron for years, and then once I realized that, and this is where people are gonna get mad, but you're never probably gonna see someone like LeBron again.
No.
And they're so, we already saw someone like LeBron. Not like that. Not that big. Not that strong, not that athletic, not that type of leader, not that type of IQ. I've never seen someone like LeBron James. And once I took the hate out my heart and stopped meat writing Michael Jordan, it was definitely something to where I started watching a lot more basketball and having a lot more fun with it. And he still blows me sometimes. Like he still makes me so mad with some of the things he does and says. But it's love at the end of the day. And I started doing that with Tom, and it's just been fun.
Yeah. I definitely agree about the LeBron.
Tom is horrible, bro. Tom's horrible. He's
I ain't gonna lie to you though, Greg. I'm having a hard time rooting for Mahomes.
Nobody's gonna know.
Don't pretend that Jackson Mahomes doesn't exist.
It's literally Jackson.
Just like we
It's
do.
literally Jackson is what does it for me.
Here in Kansas City, he doesn't exist.
No, I feel like Damien. I don't know. I feel like everybody loves Curry. I haven't seen Curry slander.
Well, you know what it is.
Everybody love Curry.
It's,
Yeah.
I think it's his image.
Yeah,
With Curry.
I know, but me personally, I think this is by far the dumbest comment he said.
Yeah,
because they both like for you to say Curry.
Like they will move a mountain for Steph Curry.
Yeah,
there's only two players that play right now that are going to come close to LeBron, and one of them is going to retire at about the same time in Kevin Durant.
KD. Yep.
The only other one is Giannis because Giannis has a similar build to LeBron and basically plays the same way.
And that's the thing, like Curry, it's literally the exact opposite because Curry gets babied. They always feel bad for him. If every like last year when it was when he had to carry the team, everyone pointing out the injuries. It's always poor Steph.
Right.
But then when LeBron comes out, gives you a 30-point triple-double, has one turnover, we're gonna crucify him for that turnover every time.
Because he should have been perfect, Pride. No.
Mike, you do the same thing.
He should have been perfect, Pride. He'll never be Michael Pride.
You're right.
Yeah.
LeBron will check himself out, and they will immediately kill him and chastise him because he didn't play every single minute of every single second.
Oh, he should have. That is all his fault.
Hey, but like
all five positions.
Like
LeBron.
Look, like we all just agreed to though, the day LeBron retires is going to be a very sad day in the NBA.
Yeah, they're going
to love him.
I promise you it won't.
They're going to love him. Trust me.
I think Bron is the one dude who, when he retires, nobody will care.
But you got to think about it from this perspective as well. How many hearts have LeBron broken? How many hearts have Tom Brady broken?
He broke my heart.
So that's where the hate comes from.
He broke my heart when he hooked up with Savannah. That's where he broke my heart.
Hold on. Speaking of Savannah, and I say this with all respect, did y'all see that Instagram picture? Lord,
you know
Jesus.
what? I'm gonna tell you this right now, Rob. I will never. I don't talk about Savannah, and the reason is because I feel me and Sis and Mike. You were there with us. I'm positive
she's a murderer.
I'm telling you,
I'm the one that said it because Pride has kids, but I'll say it. She's coming for me now, but she's a murderer.
Hey.
People wonder why. How come Bron can keep his hands clean?
Oh, hey,
she looked like she could handle business.
Well, you know what they say about the crazy.
Let me correct
you know what
myself.
they say about the crazy ones, but let's get back on sports.
She looked like she done handle business, bro. I'm telling you, I be telling people all the time. Savannah looked like a real one. Like,
yeah.
She looked the type that if you say something to her, she goes, "All right, cool, no problem." She'll somehow find your name, find your address, and all of a sudden you want a T-shirt.
I will not be on tomorrow morning's show.
That's it, bro. Savannah will somehow turn people into a T-shirt. Yeah, bro. She'll be putting people on a T-shirt with like the generic T-shirt with the wings or the stairs go to heaven on like a white tee like Rob got on now. Like,
oh no, we're Italian. We don't do that T-shirt bullshit. We just die.
And that's not even an Italian thing. That's a Chicago thing.
Oh, I swear to God, everybody goes on a T-shirt. It's horrible. And they're always the most ghetto-made T-shirts in the world. You know, let me stop being disrespectful.
But the last game we're going to talk about, the final game.
Hey, one of the greatest games we ever saw played in NFL history.
Yes,
Buffalo and Kansas City, 42-36.
Two elite quarterbacks, Pride. Two elite quarterbacks.
No. Josh Allen is horrible.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have a moment. You're right.
He's horrible. Imagine being a quarterback and only going 27 for 37. Imagine having 4 touchdowns. You're horrible. A quarterback rating
and
of
70
90,
rushing yards.
You're horrible.
Did you see the one stat that they showed with him after he threw that touchdown pass to Davis the first time?
It was what did they say? It said he broke something.
It was his 7th touchdown pass of the playoffs. He had just as many touchdown passes as incompletions. He had 7 touchdown passes and 7 incompletions at one point in that game.
Wow.
Like he had 3 incompletions. I think he had 3 incompletions against the Patriots with 5 touchdown passes.
Josh Allen's like horrible. 4
incompletions yesterday with 2 touchdowns. So he had 7
and here's the thing. And then after that, I promise I'm gonna let Chop. And we're gonna start with Greg because he's a Chief fan. this right here is a litmus test on if anybody really knows football. If somebody gives you this answer, ignore them. If you ask them who's more elite, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, in terms of the quarterback position,
Josh Allen.
If they tell you Lamar Jackson, just nod your head and go away from them. Because
I wouldn't even converse. I wouldn't converse anything with you.
Yep.
Thank you.
If you think that.
That's crazy.
I'm just letting you know. There have been people who said that with a straight face.
I just want to say, yesterday, I really felt in my heart that I didn't want to see anybody lose. The way both of those teams played, I'm like, let them just go again in the AFC Championship game. Let's call it a draw.
You know what I would have done? You want to know what I would have done?
Yeah,
I would have went to the Bengals. I would have been like, heads or tails. Boom! Oh, landed on tails. You suck. Bye bye. And I would have just kicked them out and let these dudes have a rematch at the AFC Championship. Because listen, and we knew it was gonna be a shootout, but just experiencing it and the mere fact that this was not the AFC Championship game, to me, I feel like is a letdown because now the Bengals versus Chiefs, great game. Let's not front, but it's going to be real hard to live up to what the Bills and Chiefs just did. It's going to be real hard. Like you said, Rob, one of, if not the greatest postseason, might have been the greatest divisional game of all time.
Can I just read this stat? This stat?
Go ahead, brother.
They said the last 2 minutes of regulation, 3 lead changes, 1 tie, 25 points scored in the last 2 minutes. Both Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes combined for 3 touchdown passes for 221 pass yards.
I saw
in 2 minutes.
I saw another stat that the field goal drive was actually took less time than Dak Prescott scramble. I swear to God, I saw that stat. Swear to God.
Shout out to Jay McLovin.
Look at that.
You know, I had to get that digging to old Jay McLovin. But bro, when I saw that, I was like, but that just shows you how fast Kansas City works, bro. Like, hold on. Ready? Hold on. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson do the same damn thing. They both run and throw short passes. So immediately, right then and there, when you say throw short passes, you don't know what you're talking about because Josh Allen is regarded for having a cannon. Yeah, but let's carry on. But yet everyone's still hating on Lamar and gives respect to Allen. Really, here's the problem.
Hey Damien, first of all, I want to say I appreciate you for supporting the show. Thank you so much for watching us.
Here it comes.
But please stop discussing sports. Don't ever mention anything about sports again.
And it's the actuality because Lamar runs first. Josh Allen tries to pass first.
Yeah, he passes first.
He's got some plays where it's like a designated run. There's some like that. But let's be fair here. Outside of 5 yards, Lamar Jackson's accuracy takes a massive hit. Meanwhile, Josh Allen be flinging stuff. Him, like the two dudes who throw, like there are 2 youngsters in the league that be flinging the ball effortlessly. Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. They literally just sneeze and the ball goes at least 30 yards. Like they both got cannons. Lamar Jackson does not have that. Josh Allen does not only throw short passes. Like to sit here and pretend that that's the reality of the situation means one of 2 things. You're either stupid or a moron. Pick one.
Josh Allen, to me, and I'll say it, and Greg might disagree with me, he has the most arm strength in the NFL.
Easy.
By a mile.
Easy. And I don't get it twisted, Greg. I think Patrick Mahomes got arm
strength. I'm about to say he's right up there with him. He's right up there.
No.
It's not too far off.
Allen, in terms of pure arm strength, I think it's him.
Like this kid can go.
And then I think Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes are tied.
I think Rodgers is up there too, though, because Rodgers can't sling it. He can't.
Prime Rodgers, yes. Prime Rodgers, yes. This Rodgers, he's kind of dipping down, but he's still on the upper echelon.
No, but that's what I mean with Rodgers is like, I think he can definitely still whip it 80 yards. I just don't think it's accurate. You know what I mean?
But that's why I put the other three guys up there because
Right.
they could whip it 30 and they can still do it on.
Even if it's just strength wise, I think Allen's still just in his own category.
Yes, I think yes.
That kid can chuck an entire football field.
Yeah,
I think he's in his
and he
category.
does it
But
so
again,
effortlessly.
Yeah, it's
yes,
effortless.
and that is why I have to give him the nod over a Patrick Mahomes because a Patrick Mahomes, you could see him trying to do everything, and he puts everything into it. Like I said, Josh Allen just goes.
It's like a baseball player. Patrick moves like a baseball player.
Yeah,
But you know what? With Patrick Mahomes, he just got that it factor.
Right.
He just got
And
that.
again, don't get it twisted. Let me just clarify something. I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have.
Oh no, I know.
Let me just make sure I get that out the way. I'm not trying to say that he's weak.
Oh
and
no,
can't handle the ball or nothing like that.
No, we just arguing over cannon strength.
Yeah, cannon.
Yes. And someone said Stafford has a bigger arm. I don't think so.
But Stafford can swing that thing.
He's in that conversation.
Yeah, in a conversation.
He's in that conversation. Yes, he's in that
Stafford can
conversation.
swing that thing. I mean, just that pass to Cooper Kupp was right in the pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a beauty.
In terms of like arm strength, you could say Stafford's top 5.
Yeah, I have it. I have it, and it's like no order, but you can have Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, Rodgers, and Stafford, and I'll say that's perfectly fine.
I will agree with that 5.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I honestly, I think you have to.
I don't think there's anybody else you would even think is. I don't care who's 6th.
Nah. And again, we're not talking about in terms of quarterback, just in terms of that arm strength.
Right.
I think that's the only right top.
Right, because all around quarterback is Mitchell Trubisky, number 1 overall. It's just like no question about it.
No, it's too a tongue of Loa. So we're gonna stop all that right here. Right
Johnny Manziel is coming back. Don't even just wait on it.
You know, Baker Mayfield is the GOAT.
Hulu has live sports. Hulu has live sports.
Ready? Again. By the way, what about Joe Burrow?
What about Joe Burrow?
I don't think he's got.
I love Joey, but what about him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think he's got enough to put him up there.
He's not with the best of them now.
No.
Joey's a hell of a talent.
Yes.
Joey has
we're
no fear.
only referring to arm strength now. Let's just get that out the way. Only arm strength.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, and this is a little shot at Tom, and it's not a shot, but it's definitely like Tom's conservative when he's not gonna force things. Joe, to me, is the most fearless quarterback in the NFL.
He's a gunslinger.
He's
He's a
gunslinger.
And I'm gonna say this right now. In like 3 to 5
Tom's
years,
up there, Pride. Don't get me wrong, but
the thing is, Tom is you're right. Tom is smart when it comes to his gunslinging. It's when he sees the things and he starts doing it. Joe Burrow immediately is a gunslinger. So I get what you're saying.
And he lives and dies by it. But
but here's the thing with Joe Burrow. He's got the mentality of a guy who's got a cannon. In like 3 to 5 years, I think he'll be up there. I really do. I just don't think he's there just yet.
I think the ACL thing really threw him through a loop.
Real quick. So when Josh Allen throws a touchdown to Gabriel Davis, he's good. But when Lamar throws a TD to Hollywood, it's all criticism. What the hell? Again, do me a favor, and I mean this, please understand with all due disrespect. Lamar Jackson, in terms of throwing yards, can't even spell the number of throwing yards that my guy, Josh Allen, has.
Did he even watch that touchdown pass that Allen threw that traveled 68 yards on the fly? Lamar Jackson couldn't even do that with a rocket strapped to his ball.
Let's be fair here. Let's be fair. And this is why it's so hard to root for a guy like Lamar Jackson, because we have people who can't spell football tell me Lamar Jackson is elite. He's not. Can he turn into that? Yes, of course he can. Let's not mistaken it. But come on now. When you're getting locked down consistently to the point where all they're doing is just closing you off, they're rushing you with 4 and you look like a deer in headlights. Come on, son.
Hey, I have to say this. I love Lamar Jackson. But when it comes to his quarterback skills, and I'm talking about a thrower of the football, I'm sorry, there's still questions. Questions.
Too many, and the only people who ignore it are the people who don't want to address it.
And
again, I want to like Lamar, and the reason it's not that I hate him. I just hate the people who support him because they support him all the way to the left, bro. It's like it's okay to say you like watching him, but
he's an MVP. That's all they'll say.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, all right, so by your like if you're just gonna say, oh yeah, MVP, if that's all you're gonna suck and fiend, then Joe Burrow's trash.
Right.
How many MVPs he's got?
And I said it to Bulls fans all the time after Derek won his, after the consistent knee injuries. Oh, but he's still an MVP. He's going to come back. He's going to be that guy. And I was just like, at the end of the day, you kind of got to take it for what it is at this very moment. And you can't look back on 2012. You can't look back on those situations. And what Lamar was doing, the only reason Lamar won that award, and for being completely honest, is because the Ravens went 14-2. Yeah. If they weren't winning ball games and he was still playing the way he did,
went 13-3. He's not winning it. I'm telling you, I believe that wholeheartedly. 13-3, they don't win it.
I don't think so either.
People got to understand when it comes to MVP seasons, it's hard to recapture that magic.
Right.
That's magic that happened.
It is.
I mean, things went right, you know, so it's hard to do that on a consistent basis.
Right.
Like, I think,
especially in football.
I think Lamar Jackson's just a better version of Kaepernick, in my opinion. And the way I say that is when Kaepernick first came into the league, you can point to that Packer game in the playoffs when he ran for 220 against them. Nobody knew how to defend Kaepernick at that point, so he had 2 or 3 really good years as a quarterback. Right. Once they figured him out, he left the NFL so fast he never knew what hit him. Same thing can be said with Lamar Jackson. It took teams, I think, 2 or 3 years to kind of figure out the type of quarterback he is. Right. Now everybody knows he's a run-first quarterback, which everyone knew to begin with. But now people know that he can't beat you with his arm consistently, so they're just going to do what they need to do to contain him with his legs and then force him into more throwing situations.
Not to mention, I think with the way he plays football, he's going to have to learn how to throw the ball if he wants to have any longevity in his career.
Yeah.
Because you can't take hits like that.
No, you can't. You can't. Not at all, bro. And again, the Ravens have a solid offensive. And here's the funny part about it. Everyone loved Hollywood until Lamar became his quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be fair. And Freddie says, so tired of the Lamar slander.
It's not slander.
It's no slander. I got love for Lamar, but I'm not going to sit up here and act like the man is not better than Josh Allen.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, bro, sure, he's electric with all the running. I get it. Don't get it twisted. That it's fine and all. But when you play the quarterback position,
I got Lamar at 12, 13, somewhere like that.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you exactly how I describe it. Lamar Jackson is a nice football player.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say he's nice
quarterback. Lamar is a top 10 football player. As a quarterback,
sure. And then Freddie says, that team is nothing without him.
They're nothing
with him. They were still nothing.
Yeah, they were still nothing.
The hell?
Where are they right now?
So I mean,
I think they won a couple games with the backup, didn't they?
Tyler Huntley.
And that right there lets you know everything. Tyler Huntley played better in that system.
He's a better passer. Yeah. He's a better passer. Lamar's a better runner, but Huntley's a better passer.
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
Huntley was solid.
He was. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If somebody wants to go get Huntley, it's gonna be dude got hurt and the team went to bed. They went to bed with him because when they lost him to the Dolphins, wasn't Lamar Jackson there?
They actually won more games with Huntley than they lost.
They went down the crapper because every single one of their secondary players decided to get hit in a 2 week to get hurt in a 2 week stretch.
And every single running back tore his ACL, but that's
so
except Lamar. He was the only running back to not tear his ACL.
He said no, they was in the conversation. Conversation of being what? Trash? Like, what the hell you want me to do? Like, again, no, but let's be fair here, bro. Like, like Lamar Jackson as a football player, listen, he's nice, he's solid, don't get it twisted. But let's not pretend as a quarterback, he's it.
Right.
Let's be fair here. We need to be honest with it because as a quarterback, he's a detriment. I don't care what nobody said.
And he has games where he'll throw 400 something yards, and that's fine.
And then what he'll do the next game.
Right. I don't even know.
It'll be like a bucket some change, and he's throwing at a 50% clip.
Right. It's like
that's something we need to take into consideration. Now, again, he's young. So can he evolve into it? Of course. This isn't the dude that we're going to see forever. At least I hope not. I expect him to get better.
Here's the thing, though, Clyde. I want to ask you, not to cut you off, but when he does finally reach that point, is he still going to be mobile enough to carry both sides of the ball? And that's the problem.
I don't think he's going to be mobile enough next year. I think he's still going to be mobile, but we don't know how bad that ankle is hurt. For that ankle to keep him out as long as it did, and for him not to have surgery on it,
right?
He's going to have surgery.
And it's no weird random fact, but there were other things than just the ankle. One hit, Lamar Jackson catches COVID like nobody's business. He's got it several times. He catches the stomach flu at least once or twice a season. The kid, I don't know if it's his immune system or what, but
I think he has a bad immune system.
I think he does too. And I'm not taking a shot at him because the stomach flu.
No, but it's the actuality.
Yeah, the stomach flu is a hell of a thing.
Like, a lot of times it's like he'll have like a simple stomach flu that'll make you miss a game, and he's out like 2.
Right.
So I think his immune system is a little bit,
and that's not me taking a shot because I've had the stomach flu. It is the worst thing in the world.
No, I turn to a bona fide little crybaby when I get the flu.
I swear, bro. But so I feel him on that, and I hate the slander when stuff like that happens because you don't even want to know what that kid would look like if he was out there while he had it. But it looks like something to me to where Lamar's always sick, and that kind of does hurt, his overall stats throughout the season.
True. That is a possibility.
You missed 4 weeks of being sick this year.
Again, availability is the best ability. So I'm not gonna give him a pass for that either.
Right.
I can't, But here's just my thing with it, and then we'll move on to the next topic. All I'm saying when it comes to Lamar, can he get better? Of course, there's no debate. You know what I mean? That's not the debate we're having. In 3 years, he could be a better passer. And to answer your question, Mike, because you said, will he still be mobile? I think when he starts being comfortable throwing the ball, he just has to be mobile enough.
Right.
Mobile enough that way, because honestly, I've always said this. His creativity should be his last resort. Yeah. Like his best talent needs to be his last resort, because if you, I understand you love the creativity, but there are times you need to run the play.
Right.
And a lot of times when you watch him, he'll have Mark Andrews wide open, and he won't throw the ball.
He's a walking audible, like to be honest.
He just wants the play to break down so he can run. And it's like, look, bro, that's cute. It's awesome. Don't get it twisted, but let's pump the brakes, because understand something.
Yeah.
When you can't, when that fails and you need to run and you need to throw the ball, you look pedestrian.
Mm-hmm.
You look average.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing he had. Like, there's nothing special about him that makes you. I'm talking about if you take away his running ability, there's no backup. There's no plan B. Like Tom Brady, his mind is, and the same thing with Peyton Manning. Their minds were so sharp and their IQs were so high that they were able to make adjustments. Lamar doesn't have that.
Right.
He's way too early for him to have that type of IQ. That's something you need years and years and years and years of playing to get that, so that way you can actually start calling stuff out. Again, Deshaun Watson, he's mobile. He could throw the ball. Russell Wilson, mobile. He could throw the ball, right? Like, you know what I mean? So, again, and you know what I just noticed about those two quarterbacks that I literally just said? They're both black.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you're able to be a black quarterback and throw the ball.
Yep.
Let's be fair here. By the way, Freddie says, did Brady or Rodgers make adjustments this weekend? No. Rodgers
Brady
lost
did.
Brady did.
No, because the point he's trying to make is that they both lost. The point he's trying to make is that they both lost. That's the point he's trying to make.
At the end of the day, he got 7 rings.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna go that far. Tom lost and Rodgers lost. You let me know when Lamar Jackson had a chance to win the game.
Are we all in agreement and amazed that Patrick Mahomes is now about to play his 10th playoff game this upcoming weekend, and he has yet to play a playoff game on the road?
4th consecutive AFC
championship at home.
That doesn't surprise me, because he fell into the perfect situation.
Hey,
I'm just saying, like, if you would tell anybody that he has yet to play a playoff game,
so you talk about like his
double check,
year,
like, what do you mean?
Like his rookie year when he sat, like, oh yeah,
like he has yet to play a playoff game on the road.
Yeah.
5 years in.
And you know what?
He said,
I
I'll
made
be
a
on
tweet
tomorrow.
last
I'm
night.
so tired of the Jackson slander, but it's not slander. Matter of fact, we'll talk about
It's
it
not
tomorrow.
slander. Nobody said
not
Lamar
slander.
Jackson is trash.
Right? No one is.
Nobody said Lamar
No.
Jackson
Matter
is
of fact,
trash.
let me just
Lamar
be
Jackson
because
is nice.
let me just take a quick poll. Greg, is Lamar Jackson horrible?
No.
Okay, Dustin, is he horrible?
No.
Okay, Rob, is he horrible?
No.
No. Okay, so now
Not
let
at
me
all.
ask one more question. Greg, should he put in more work to be better?
Yes.
Dustin, should he put more work in to be better?
Every quarterback should.
Thank you. Rob, should he put more effort into or more work in to be better?
Yes.
So
Yes.
explain this to me. He needs to be better, but it's slander to say that?
No. No.
I'm gonna give you a good one. I'm gonna give you a good one, Pride.
Go ahead.
I compare like Lamar. Look at like Lamar Jackson and John Morant. I think right now you're playing the game strictly off athleticism and talent. It becomes a whole different animal when you begin to understand the game, know where your spot's at, know more when the game slows down for you, even though you can play it at a fast pace. And I just think Lamar Jackson's not there yet. He's still learning the game, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with still learning the game, but I know off natural talent, the man got it.
I'll explain tomorrow. Again, it's just going to be excuses after excuses after excuses when he's had weapons. So I don't want to hear nothing about how he didn't have nothing. But
No.
we're moving on. But actually, no, by the way, Freddie, no, you actually can't explain tomorrow. We're not allowed to debate. So
I will say, as far as what Dustin said, Patrick Mahomes, this is his 10th home playoff game coming up. Patrick Mahomes has transformed the Chiefs franchise. Let's not forget, before he got here, we only had one playoff win in like 25 years. So,
but I mean, you guys were still solid.
We were solid, but the game we won last night, those are games we would lose back in the day.
Nah, you're right. Yeah,
would,
and I love Alex Smith. But when y'all had that would have been a blowout.
We would have.
If y'all even got to that game, to be honest, because
But so Mahomes has done exactly what Tom Brady did for the Patriots. He has transformed the franchise. The city is lit. Everybody is happy this morning. Everybody was a little stressed out last night, but man, when you got 15, the game is never over.
You want to know the sad part too? What you just said, Greg?
Go ahead.
Patrick Mahomes has played 10 playoff games. Not even 10. He's played 9.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He is 12th in NFL history already in touchdown passes in the playoffs.
Wow.
He's a gunslinger.
12th. And if he throws 3 touchdowns this weekend, he moves to 10th. And if he throws 2 in the Super Bowl, he moves to 8th. And if he were to throw 10 touchdown passes in the next playoff after that, he would move to number 3 behind Montana and Brady.
Yeah,
he's going 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, he's going to end up catching and
that's absolutely ridiculous that he has 25 touchdowns and 1 interception.
I don't think he will, because I don't know. I think this roster in a few more years, questions are going to have to be made. And I think the Chiefs, kind of like every dynasty, right? You're going to have your ups and then things are going to start ticking down.
Right, yeah.
I think in a couple years that's going to happen.
If that does happen, though, I think he plays the way they did early in the season, where he's just doing what the defense gives him. And even at that, they would just rechange that offense and make it where he just takes what the defense gives him. And when they get inside the 5-yard line, they have so many creative trick plays where he underhand passes and throws things backhand that he'll get 30, 40 touchdowns out of that just by those designs.
And someone says, he will catch Brady, take your fan away. Nah, but it's not me being a fan. It's just really along the lines of, let's be fair, there's more times than not when it comes to a dynasty. They kind of dip down.
Yeah. I don't think he catches Brady because Brady keeps playing.
And this is not to say that Patrick Mahomes is going to fall off the planet, but I just think that eventually the offense, they're going to lose some of their weapons. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to kind of be a situation where they're kind of like what I had with Alex Smith, right?
Yeah.
Solid team. Not to say that Mahomes will beat Alex Smith, but your offense just wasn't enough to do anything in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, I can get there, but then it'll be struggle. So I'm not saying, and again, you're saying pride, you're coming off as a fan. Meanwhile, when I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs fan is actually agreeing with me and understands what I'm saying.
I feel it.
You see what I'm saying, Greg?
Okay. I feel what you're saying.
But again, we're talking about playoffs. We're talking about
the play. Yeah,
like
I think
say Brady isn't a top 3 quarterback anymore.
Let's hold on that for a second.
I mean, but again, Greg, we need to understand who this is. We need to understand who this is. This is the same dude who's going to say Lamar Jackson's a top 3. So we'll let him have his fun. We'll let him say whatever he wants. Shrugging my shoulders. It is what it is. But final topic of the day. As of right now, let me just read you off the standings real quick in the NBA. So in the Eastern Conference, it's Miami, Brooklyn, Chicago, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Philly, and then in the play-in is Charlotte at 7, Boston at 8, which surprised the hell out of me, Toronto at 9, and the Wizards at 10, which, by the way, Wizards, they're at 10th, under 500. I swear to God, this was a great team. Interesting. Pressure got on, they couldn't handle. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Western Conference, Phoenix at 1, Golden State at 2, Memphis at 3, Jazz at 4, Dallas at 5, Nuggets at 6. In the play-in, Minnesota Timberwolves at 7, Lakers at 8, Clippers at 9, the Trailblazers at 10. MVP. Do you guys, and I'm going to start with you, Greg. Season ended today. Who you got as MVP?
Man, that is a good question. Well, look, I would go with Embiid. I'll go with Embiid just the way he's been playing like this past darn near last month. He's definitely carrying that Sixers team as of right now. Ben, with no Ben Simmons, obviously. So they're 6 right now. So besides him, of course, DeRozan gets a honorable mention as well. But for me, I would go with Embiid.
Dustin, I'm gonna read you the top, like the NBA.com MVP ladder right now, right? So these
you don't need to even do that because I know where I'm going on this.
No, I'm just saying it for the people at home. I want to see whether, because obviously I want you to let me know who you think is gonna be the MVP, but I also want you to your opinion to see if you think that they're crazy or they're out of their mind. So at number 1, Nikola Jokic. Number 2, Giannis. 3, Joel Embiid. 4, Kevin Durant. 5, Chris Paul. 6, Steph Curry. 7, DeMar DeRozan. 8, John Morant. 9, Rudy Gobert. And 10th, LeBron James. By the way, the other 5 that they also kind of have on the outlier, Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Darius Garland, and James Harden. First of all, Dustin, are they out of their mind? And who's your MVP?
Curry needs to be in the top 5. So I don't know why he's even on the outside. I don't know why Chris Paul's ahead of Curry. If it's because the Phoenix Suns have a better record, that's asinine, because Curry's numbers are miles better than Chris Paul's, and we saw what the Warriors team was like last year without Curry. So he needs to be in the top 5. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at who I would pick as MVP in a couple ways. If I'm going strictly based on the numbers that players are putting up, numbers like if you compare players' numbers to each other, I'm going to give it to Jokic just because his numbers are better than what they were when he won the MVP last season. Last time I checked, the MVP is supposed to be the most valuable player. And stats, I don't like stats all the time, but stats are a big part of what gives a person an MVP award. And Jokic is putting up better stats than he did last year when he won. So for people not to even put him, obviously NBA.com has him as a favorite right now, but for a lot of people not to even think he deserves it, if he got it with what he did last year, he should definitely be getting it this year with what he's doing this year. I don't think he's going to just because the Denver Nuggets are not as good as what they were last year. And we've seen this numerous times. You can go back to baseball, you can go back to football and everything. There's never been an MVP in baseball that has come from a losing team. Yep. It's very difficult to win the MVP unless your team is winning games. which is why Curry, which is why Durant, which is why Giannis and Joel Embiid are all going to be, I think, getting consideration all year because their teams are winning. Denver's winning, but they're not winning at that frequency. If I were to give an MVP right now, I would give it to Ja Morant. Mainly because look at what Memphis is this year compared to what Memphis has been the past couple of years. Obviously, Ja has a ton of help, and the team has been 11-2 when he's not in the lineup. But Ja Morant is playing just like what Derrick Rose played like when Derrick Rose won his MVP. The Bulls came out of nowhere that year and got the top seed in the Eastern Conference, and Derrick Rose averaged 24.7 points, like 5 rebounds, and like 6 assists. It wasn't like an incredible season, but it was a great season in terms of what point guards did. Morant is putting up similar numbers to what Derrick Rose put up that year when Rose won his MVP, and Memphis is doing exactly what the Chicago Bulls did that year where they came out of nowhere and became one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Granted, you have Golden State and Phoenix to contend with, but Memphis realistically can win 55 to 60 games this year and probably still be a 3 seed in the Western Conference. But I do like Ja Morant. I think he deserves it. I just don't think he gets it just because I don't think people are going to give him the benefit of the doubt just knowing how much depth Memphis has compared to some of these other teams.
By the way, real quick, wait, it's okay to give Tom Brady and LeBron an excuse when they lose the playoffs, but Lamar loses its slander. Wow. Again, you're a moron. All due disrespect, of course. Who gave Tom Brady an excuse? We literally just said the first half he played was horrible. It was garbage. No debate. Yep. We all said this, correct?
Yep, this is garbage. Yep.
Anyway, Dustin, the only reason I don't think Ja Morant is going to win the MVP, it's simple. Without him, the Grizzlies are 11-2.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's why I don't think he gets it either.
That is basically what's going to kill it.
Yeah, that's why I said he's playing exactly what Derrick Rose did when Rose won his MVP, except Rose was healthy all year and never missed any games, so you really couldn't see like how good that team was without him. Versus Morant's missed enough time now where Memphis has shown they can win without Morant. But from like a number side of things and for what he's done for that Memphis franchise, he deserves it as much as anybody else does.
Right. No, 100%. He deserves it, of course. Again, he's not going to get it. But I agree with you. I think Jokic needs to win the MVP. Again, just watching a Denver Nuggets game, this Nuggets team looks completely and utterly different when Jokic is not on the court. They look lost. They look confused. They look befuddled. They don't know what they're doing. It's just amazing.
It's like Jokic is standing on the floor with a whiteboard, showing everybody where to go and what to do.
Where to go? Yes.
Like he's the whiteboard. He's like, okay, this is what we got to do. So everyone just feed off of me, and you go where you got to go.
So it's like you have to give it to him. Like you said, he won MVP last year, and now he's just playing better. He's playing better. Again, there's no argument at all. He's playing better. He's playing more consistent, and he's defining what it means to be MVP. Because again, when he's not on the court, dudes look lost, confused, and they're just like.
Well, that's because he's everything to this team. He's the point guard. He's the center. Sometimes he's the stretch shooter.
To Rob's point, he literally does everything. And they're putting all the burden on him, and he's handling it.
Not to mention, you're missing your number 2.
You're
Jamal
missing
Murray.
your number 2, and on top of that, you've got this team 24-21 as a 6th seed out of the play-in. When at this point, it is literally Jokic or bust. It's Jokic or bust right now. I think it's time that we start considering him not only as the best big man in the game right now, but I think it's time for us to respect him and start calling him a top player in the NBA. I think it's a conversation we need.
No, that should have already been established.
But nobody wants to.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to give him that type of respect. Why? I don't know. He must have done something wrong to somebody one day or something, but I think it's time for us to acknowledge that this dude at worst right now is a top 10 player in the league because Jokic is, or if you want to say top 3, I'm willing to listen to that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm willing to listen to it. I am willing to engage it. I don't think you're out of pocket for saying that. I think at worst he's top 10. I think top 10 at worst.
That goes back to the comparison that I was doing about what happens when a player begins to understand the game. Look how Jokic plays. You can't speed him up. You can't slow him down, even though he already moves at a turtle pace, but he plays at his own pace and what he's able to do. I mean, what Shaq say, look at the feet work when he's down there on the post.
Yes.
He makes these dudes look small, look weak, look slow. How can somebody slow make somebody look slow? I mean,
imagine.
Because he makes other people look slow because of his internal clock. Because when you watch him, he always seems like he's 1 or 2 steps ahead of everybody else.
He is.
And before they realize what he did, he already did what he did.
He's a very smart player. I see a lot of LeBron in him, like the way he'll hold the ball up at the top of the key, point, put everybody in their positions. Hey, I need you here. No, come here. No, you down there. It's like Jokic is truly controlling the floor. And hey, if you don't have him as a top 10 player, you don't know the game of basketball.
You either don't know it or you just don't want to respect him.
Jokic is a dog. I mean, you don't get a nickname unless you're a dog. Nobody wants to see the Joker.
Let's be fair here. Bro. And honestly, like I said, I think that's why it's time for us to really start acknowledging and respecting him. Because let's be fair here. The Nuggets shouldn't be where they are. Let's be fair here, right? They should be at the plane at best.
No.
Yep.
And let's be honest. The guy who's solely responsible for that is Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe it, go watch a game. And when he has to rest for a little bit, go see how dysfunctional this team looks.
Mm-hmm.
They go from being up by 15 to being up by 3 in a matter of 2 minutes when he's off the floor.
2 minutes.
Again, reminds you of LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Because yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it really does. It really does. Like, because the way he plays, it's really more along the lines of go here, go there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like telling guys what to do. And on top of that, when he gets as a big man, if you can as a big man consistently hit guys in the shooter's pocket so effortlessly that they have to try to miss, that is something special. Because there are guards whose job it is to pass. There are guards who can't do that. There are guards who can't do that. And as a center, for you to be able to do that.
Hey, prime example, when they played the Clippers back on the 19th, that game winning pass to Aaron Gordon in the 3.
God.
In the corner. I mean, it's after you already had a 49 triple-double, not to mention that pass gives you your 10th assist to complete the triple-double. I mean, Jokic has been playing out of his damn mind lately. You know, even the last game against Detroit, I know it's Detroit, but to give him 34, 9, and 8, like it ain't nothing. He wakes up in the morning and gives you 25 and 10.
So
that guy is amazing, man. I love the Joker. I love 100%. The Joker.
Me too. I like him. Like I love him. I think he's phenomenal. I think he is. Again, for a big man to be able to, in essence, play the guard position.
This is why I don't understand. If you look at Jokic and you look at Joel Embiid, this is why I get disappointed in Karl Anthony Towns, because you were the next it guy. You know, people looked at Cat and was like, man, with the skill you have as a 7-footer, and he could not maximize his potential, but then you see Joel Embiid and you see the Joker, it's like there's no excuse. Minnesota is so talented. I don't know why they're not higher in the seeding. And, you know, and I think that deals more with culture. And Jokic is, you know, he's saying Denver might not have a culture, but they have a leader in me. And he's establishing that culture. So all hats off to Jokic. Right now, he probably is the top MVP candidate. You know, I still like Embiid. I'm not going to concede to that. But right now, if you said today, if the season was over, who's your MVP? It's the
It's
Joker.
Jokic. For now,
it's
yeah.
Jokic, yeah.
For now. Now we don't know what happens because KD, and the reason why I'm KD could come back and just tear the floor up, and then all of a sudden it's back to his, right?
And you know he can do it.
Right. We know he can do it. That's what I'm saying for now. That's why I don't think, as of right now, I think it's Jokic. I think if Jokic continues doing this, I'm going to put it to you this way. If Jokic can make this team somehow be a top 4 seed, I think at some point we're just gonna say it's a consensus Jokic. To be honest with you, bro.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be a consensus because again, when is Murray coming back? Does anyone know? Did they ever really announce it or anything like that?
I think
Murray?
right now it's like week to week.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be back sometime in February.
Yeah.
Sometime in February?
So I wouldn't bring him back honestly until after the All-Star game. And then you got to look at that.
You know what I would do?
Denver becomes a problem for the postseason. If Murray comes back, it could give you production. They become a problem.
You know what I would do if I'm Denver? Do what Golden State did with Clay. Go put him in the G League.
Another year?
No, put him in the G League.
Oh yeah,
put him in the G League where that way he can actually kind of, because they need, listen. The NBA needs to start treating the G League how baseball treats their farm system. Where when a pitcher, more specifically, when he comes back from an injury and he needs his rehab assignment, he goes down to the minors. And it's okay to do that. It's okay for, being able to rehab, because you're not going to be able to rehab in practice. You're not, right? You're not. You might not be comfortable, especially with an ACL. Maybe he needs to learn how to have a little more confidence. You have him play a couple games, couple weeks in the G League. Let him come back, and then don't bring him up. To your point, Rob, don't bring him back up until the All-Star break.
Yeah.
After the All-Star break, that's when you should bring him up.
Because there's nothing like playing at real game speed.
Yes.
You can play all the scrimmages in the world, have all the practices in the world, but until you actually out there where people can touch you and move you off your spot, you want to get as real of a game as you can.
Yep, 110%. But that's going to do it for us this morning. This has been ASAP in the morning. Greg, you got any final words for the people, Greg?
Hey, the Chiefs weren't supposed to be here.
Hey,
Ryan Clark said we're not that good.
Y'all just so desperate to be underdogs.
No, that's what it was. No, people were saying that. Those are actual things, actual quotes.
Yeah, honestly, I think the only person that believed in the Chiefs was Nick Wright.
Yes, me and Nick Wright. Yes, we were the only two people because everybody else gave up. Rex Ryan said, I wouldn't be scared of this team playing in the playoffs, blah, blah. Josh Allen was the second coming, blah, blah, blah. And we are here. So, Joe Burrow, you're next.
Uh-oh.
Next.
Dustin, any final words?
Well, if you look at the playoff game last night, if you look at the first matchup between Cincinnati and Kansas City, and if you look at the quarterbacks in general in the AFC is absolutely loaded with quarterback talent for the next decade, top to bottom.
Yes, it is.
And I'm here for all of it.
Rob, you got any final words?
Hey, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Craig and the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, y'all played a hell of a game, man, and I was definitely excited. It made me, watching them versus the Bills, made me realize why I love this game, why I love sports in general. It's for that. And to our fans out here that's watching us, I'm sorry I'm at work, as y'all can see. I know I kept jumping on, jumping off. So thank my coworkers, thank my people, Pride, Greg, Stat, Mike. Thank everybody for your patience with me, man. And hey, let's get ready for the Super Bowl, baby. Let's do it. And catch your boy Rob 2 Cents, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, I'm everywhere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Obviously appreciate you guys being here. It's always fun to have y'all. Couple things. First and foremost, don't ever let your girl ever tell you 13 seconds isn't enough. Don't ever let her get away with saying that. You heard? So for all my fellow brothers out there who need the excuse, 13 seconds, it's always long enough. Obviously, don't forget to watch us on Tiki Live. Here's the link. So go to tikilive.com and go to ASAP. We're live there every day. We
Yes,
have
sir.
also all
Yes,
types of shows.
yes.
Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all our social media links. We go live 7 days a week to give you more content on sports. Just remember, 13 seconds is more than enough. Don't let nobody tell you that.
ASAP.
This, on behalf of Greg, Dustin, and Rob, Mike, who also was here, and T, who popped in for a minute, it is your boy Pride. We'll be back here tomorrow, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Till then, y'all know what to do. Be safe.
We go.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.